Yep. We are talking more fantasy football. We're doing it. We're doing the fantasy football thing. Yeah, you're giving Alvin Kamara and Brian Thomas Jr. for Drake London and Marvin Harrison Jr. A smash on the London side, my friend. There you go. There you go. All right. How is everybody doing today, man? Are we doing all right? Let's talk some fantasy football. We were already chatting a bunch of fantasy earlier, and here we are again. So, there we go. How are you guys? We've got everything going on here. We are live. We are live on all the apps, guys. So, if you are not following along on all the apps, make sure you come through, check it out on multiple different platforms. Be talking plenty of football tonight. Quinn, thanks for the follow. Bailey Fields, look at you guys hopping in right away. What's up, Bailey? Traded for Rice and Jacobs. Gave away Chase and Judkins. Did I win? Traded for Rice and Jacobs. Gave away Chase and Judkins. This is a tough one, Bailey. I think this is about a net even trade. I think Josh Jacobs will probably outscore Quinshon Judkins rest of the season just on a more high-powered offense. And I do think Rice will probably at least keep you in the arena of Chase. Now, I do get a little bit nervous that we are too high on Rashee Rice for how long it's been. Like, you've not seen this man perform at an NFL level for well over a year. So, well over a year. So I do get a tiny bit nervous from that perspective that we are putting a ton of stock into the Rashee Rice experiment. That all being considered, I do think that you have, upside on your side as well. So I think you'll be okay. But I would be a tiny bit concerned that we are overvaluing Rashee Rice at this point. I still am really high on him, guys. I'm just saying. We got to be a little bit cautious in general about what we got cooking with Rashee Rice over here. I've seen him move for some crazy values. Nate says Waddle or DK at the flex. Look, I mean, that's a tough one, right? Because DK Metcalf has 4 straight games with a touchdown. I do got to believe at some point this has got to subside. At the same time, he gets to play Cincinnati next week. And so probably not subsiding, right, when you get to play against one of the worst teams in the league. Yeah, I think that's exactly kind of where you got to be at. Me personally, I would be playing DK Metcalf against Cincinnati, but I think you do have to play both on a weekly basis at this point until otherwise. You should have flex spots, right? So maybe drop Waddle into the flex and get comfortable there. I got a chill guy in the chat, just a chill guy. I got a chill guy poster on my wall, actually. Not even a poster. It's an artwork done by one of my great friends and talented artists. Ben says, trade Cooks and Etienne for Waddle and Henry. Cooks and Etienne. I'm assuming that's James Cook. James Cook and Etienne for Waddle and Henry. I think I'm going to hold James Cook here. I think Waddle obviously gives you a lot of upside, and here I was just talking him up a moment ago. But all that being considered, I do think that, Derrick Henry makes me quite a bit nervous here, depending on the production, and I do think that you will have, will still have plenty of upside with James Cook here in the long run on that Buffalo Bills offense. I got Trey in here saying Sutton and Ramondre for Flowers and Etienne. Sutton and Ramondre for Flowers and Etienne. This one I'm going to lean the Flowers and Etienne side. I think, obviously, Cortland Sutton, plenty talented. He's currently, wide receiver 11, wide receiver 12 on the season, giving you good production. No qualms necessarily about that. All that being considered, though, I think we do have to be a little bit forward-thinking about the fact that I still am a believer in Travion Henderson to take over this backfield over the course of the season. Now, Mike Vrabel seems to be messing around with us a little bit right now and not wanting to give him what I believe are the snaps and touches he deserves. But all that being considered, I do think that it will eventually be his backfield, and we are early enough on in the season that there's probably still a decent chance that, you do see a breakout maybe by week 9 with Travion Henderson. So that could happen. Okay, sorry guys. Had to make a little announcement there in the Discord. If you guys are not already a member of the Discord and you're not already following here on TikTok, make sure you are doing so. Go check me out as well on some of the other streaming platforms like the Red app with the big U and the Witching app, except for put a T in front of it with its purple logo. The chat features are a lot better there, so you'll get better access to me. But I will also be pinning some comments here from TikTok as I manage all the chats here. So again, if you are not already a follower here on TikTok, please drop a follow so that I can pin your comments like Doll here and make my life a lot easier and my chat a bit more readable. I've got 6-0 so far with Rice and Kittle coming back. Doll, you deserve to absolutely take a bow, my friend. That is what we do it for. Love to hear the 6-0, and you've got reinforcements on the way. That's fantastic, my friend. I've got Jesus, man, whatever you are, God bless you. He says, I have Kittle, Kraft, and Waller. Who do I drop or trade out? Well, honestly, if you have all those, like the easy option is to just shop Darren Waller, right? I think like the thing we're already seeing with Darren Waller is that, yeah, he's been very productive, but he's also been extremely touchdown dependent. I mean, the first couple weeks, he finds the end zone several times, right? Now, if I pull up this week, you'll see very clearly what I see, which is that, if I remember correctly, he had 2 catches. 2 catches. One of them comes in the end zone, though. So, again, if he doesn't get that second catch as a touchdown, he's sitting pretty uncomfortably at about 2 points, and people are talking about him being a bust, right? So, again, like, the narrative in fantasy can shift so quickly. How do I get ahead of it? By trading them away, trying to capitalize on value. If you have Kraft and Kittle already, you can flex both those guys each week and feel good about it. I'm probably capitalizing on a tight end needy team, going and flipping Darren Waller and seeing if I can bring in any semblance of running back backup. So, like, I'm thinking, can I go get Tony Pollard? Can I go get Travis Etienne? Can I go get Ken Walker? Can I go get Zach Charbonnet even? Like, somebody that just gives me a tiny bit of upside for the future as I'm starting to gear up towards the playoffs. Like, I think you should be able to. Hell, package Darren Waller with one other of your players and see if you can get there. Whatever it takes. Ramiro in here. What's up, man? Ramiro says, thoughts on Rashee Rice playoff schedule? Yeah, let's refresh ourselves here and see how we're looking on the Chiefs playoff schedule. I mean, yeah, the week 1 semifinals will be fantastic, right? You get Tennessee. That should be an easy matchup for them. Denver's a bit tougher of a divisional matchup, right? Like, Denver should be competing pretty hard for a playoff spot at that point. This division is brutal right now, so I think that game will either be a shootout or it'll be one of those low-scoring grinder games. Tough for me to predict this far in advance, obviously, right? But I think it's not a bad playoff schedule by any means. It doesn't stick out to me out of the ordinary. I mean, like, the playoff schedule you're looking for really is, like, Chase Brown. You know, like, Chase Brown has an incredible playoff schedule. I don't know if you guys have checked out the Bengals down here, but he gets Miami and Arizona, you know, and Baltimore the week before if you're not having a first-round bye, right? So if you play a 3-week playoff structure, you get Baltimore, Miami, and Arizona as a running back. That's basically your dream out there. You know, you can't get much luckier than that. All right. Caleb says, what does Caleb say? Caleb says, for the flex, do I go Bill, Diggs, or Vidal? Honestly, man, I'm pretty comfortably sitting with Stephon Diggs still. You know, Bill has been far too volatile for me, and I know a lot of people have gotten hyped here and there on him, and I've taken plenty of fleck over the year, by being as low as I am on Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. But I think every time that I get proven wrong, then I get proven right the next week, and I think that just shows he's not consistent enough of an asset that I am feeling comfortable rolling him out on a weekly basis right now. So that should speak volumes to where I land on the man. I've got Sean in here asking a good question, especially from a dynasty perspective. Thoughts on KTC as a resource? So he's talking about Keep Trade Cut, guys. If you don't already use that website or you're not familiar with it, it is a dynasty rankings and trade calculator website. Now, here's what I'll say about Keep Trade Cut. I absolutely don't use the trade calculator at all. It's one of those like metrics and systems where, you know, you plug enough things on one side and it'll tell you that you're getting the right value. That's why, like, if you are, using Keep Trade Cut to do your trades right now, and people in your league are using Keep Trade Cut to do your trades, then you should be able to fleece them. Because if you just plug enough garbage in on one side, it'll tell you equal Jamar Chase. So please, never rely on the trade calculator on that website. That is simply only helpful for one-for-one trades. So let's just say you're going in there because, again, the way that they value things is interesting. And I know on my sideways, sorry for my folks that are streaming me horizontally, it's probably going to look a little bit interesting here. But let's just say if I go to the trade calculator, you should be able to at least see a kind of an example here. But, if I do right here and do like Drake London on one side, right? Boom. And I'm trying to decide between him and Brian Thomas Jr. Well, again, it'll tell you that it's favoring Drake London by a tiny bit, which is what I agree with. I think I'm good with that. But at the same time, it's basically just valuing based off of the individual player values. So if it's a one-for-one trade, I understand using it as a resource. However, if you use it for, calculating a ton of pieces, I think it's absolutely going to, fuck you over in the long run. Like, you do not want to be using a trade calculator for the long, the long haul here. However, the only thing I will say about KTC, guys, sorry, and then I will get back to answering some questions from the chat. KTC is a good resource for checking community rankings just to gauge, like, across the board how players are being valued, right? So I don't mind using it from a Dynasty rankings perspective and seeing just overall where players are moving up and down. That is what I use it for. Outside of that, I personally think that you need to, have your own, values of players. Everybody's going to take chances on different guys. That's part of the reason why I end up being really good at Dynasty is I put a lot of extra research in and understand the, guys coming out of college here and everything like that, and try to capitalize on guys that I think have a lot more value than others, right? Only other thing I would say is if you are using KTC right now and you're looking for a way better resource on how to make trades and how to value players, it's totally free. Please just hop on over to my Discord or send me a direct message right now that says Discord. I will send you an invite link. We'll get you up and running there. Like, we have a trade center. There's trades going on all day, every day, both redraft and Dynasty. And I'm always in there responding to questions, and you basically get free access to my useless database of a brain of fantasy football knowledge, Bacon, thanks for the follow, man. All right, guys, I've got a couple of folks coming in on the Red app over here. If you're not already following along there or subscribed over on the tube that is for you, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, go on over there. The streaming experience will be fantastic, and you get a vertical and a horizontal and plenty of chat interaction, as well as on the purple app, the Witching app, that starts with the T. Would love to see you guys over there as well. But if you're here on TikTok, just like Eric, make sure you drop a follow so that I can pin your comment and read your questions nice and easy. I do see Mason Taylor or Evan Ingram long-term. I mean, long-term, I'm obviously going to take Mason Taylor, right? He's 21 years old. He's got a ton of upside, lack of target competition in that offense. Now, I do think, if we're talking individually for this season, I think Evan Ingram could potentially provide you with a better set of production in the immediate here. I think part of the reason I'm saying that is, if I remember correctly, he does have a pretty favorable schedule coming up. And yes, he does. Very favorable. So obviously they get to go play the New York Giants, who, they've actually been good, turning the team around pretty well here. However, then he gets to go face Dallas, 32nd ranked overall defense. Houston, who obviously has a better defense, but mainly at corner, less so for the linebacking options here, where Evan Ingram's going to find himself in single coverage. And then Las Vegas and even Kansas City, who's been allowing plenty of receptions to tight ends as well. So, again, I do think Evan Ingram has a nice stretch coming up here. Could be a great tight end buy or streaming option for you if he's somehow still on the waiver wire. On top of that, I've got Eli in here saying, do I do Pickens for Collins straight up? Yes, you do. You smash that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I would gladly be taking the Nico Collins side here. John is in the chat saying, do I trade DK, Addison, and Gainwell for Diggs and James Cook? Yes, I would be taking the James Cook side. I just think you're getting a significant enough upgrade at the running back position. Valentine says Pickens, Kincaid, Hampton for JSN and Laporta. Yeah, this one's a JSN and Laporta side easy. I think honestly, guys, if you can do anything to get Jackson Smith and Jigba right now, you're doing it. Sean, what's up, Sean? Sean, we got a dynasty question in here. Sean, are you already in the Discord, man? Would love to have you in the Discord if you're not. AJ and Chase Brown for first round, 3 second rounds in 2026 if rebuild. Yeah, if you're rebuilding, I'm smashing this personally. Obviously, I would hope that you've done your research out here, Sean, and you have gone to all the other teams in the league that could potentially be competing and see if they are interested in either of those two pieces and just see if you can get more. I mean, honestly, Dynasty Fantasy Football is all about one thing. It is just about putting in the effort and, being the guy that's willing to go out there and send a million offers. Okay? So if you've sent your offers out and this is the best offer that you're going to get for those two package, I have absolutely no problem taking it. I think you're probably almost out of the range of getting a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. Chase Brown at this point you're not getting a first for him in the current moment in time. I mean, if you want to take the risk and hold on to him, you might be able to get a better package down the line, but I'd be pretty non-confident of that happening. So I would say take the deal unless you've not explored it. If you haven't, go explore it to a bunch of other people, and then if that's the best you got, then smash it. Again, if you're a Dynasty player, Sean, please send me a direct message right now that says Discord. Would love to have you in there for the Dynasty Trade Center. We can help you with your rebuild all year long. I got Taylor in here. What's up, Tay? Tay says, Bourne or Vidal in my flex. I'm going to be playing Kamani Vidal. I just think he'll get a lot more, action. Like a lot more action in the long haul. Hey, I got to pin this comment. Look, it's Little Sparks. Hi, Suze. How are you? Thank you so much for hopping in, supporting. Appreciate you. So value your generosity with your knowledge. Thank you, Suze. Appreciate you for coming through. You guys are awesome and so happy to see some of my favorites in the chat. I've got Juan out here saying Breece Hall for Quinshon Judkins. I'll be taking the Judkins side here. I think just in general, obviously from a dynasty perspective, I'm clearly taking Judkins on a rookie deal. Even beyond that, though, I do think Breece Hall has a ton of upside. He's actually been a massive buy for me in Dynasty right now. I just think there's a pretty confident chance that he goes to a different team next year, gets obviously a ton more runway in a different program, and has the opportunity to, kind of go back to the true breakout that we were hoping to see from him. But that's where I'm at with Breece Hall. I still think he's a great buy. John says, do you give advice via message? It's a great question, John. I do respond to some TikTok messages here, but mainly just to direct people to the Discord because TikTok messaging is abysmal. I can't see screenshots of your roster. I can't see, what kind of trades you guys are making. I can't see access to, your league and all the settings you have going on. However, that is why I made the Discord. So send me a direct message, John, and just say Discord. That's all you got to type. I will send you an invite link, and then you can go ahead and post your roster in the roster construction channel. You can post your trades in the trade center, and I am happy to help attend to all of your guys' needs in there. It is just that the TikTok platform itself is pretty ass for messaging. I hope they don't ban my live for saying that, but it is true. For messaging, you can't send pictures. You can't really, interact with people in a great way, so. I got Anthony Edwards fan in here. What's up, Anthony? Anthony Edwards. What are we playing basketball now, my guy? What's happening? This is football. Who would you do Pearsall and Olave for Swift? If my wide receivers are Amon-Ra and London, but running backs are Kamani Vidal and Kamara. Pearsall and Olave for Swift. No, I wouldn't. I mean, you obviously have great wide receiving core here with Amon-Ra and Drake London, but dude, you're giving up way too much. Olave in itself, I would not give up for Swift alone. Pearsall for Swift, 1-for-1 is probably a fair trade. I have those two guys in about the same range for me, but I would be just shopping to other folks. Can I take Pearsall and then, somebody else who you have as a backup on your bench, or Kamani Vidal or whatever, who's just a rental for you in the meantime? Pearsall and Vidal, go get Ken Walker, Travis Etienne, Chuba Hubbard while he's down right now. Someone who's actually going to give you production beyond just these first, couple weeks here that you're going to get out of Vidal. Spence, what's up? Spence is back, dropping roses. Yo, should I drop Mason Taylor for Otten, waiting for Bowers? I wouldn't, man. I mean, with Garrett Wilson sustaining the injury now, Mason Taylor's probably got a hell of a lot more runway ahead of him than Cade Otton does. I know Ibuka is dealing with an injury as well. Like, there's injuries all over the map, but it's probably what I'd be saying. Guys, if you're one of the folks on TikTok right now, please go ahead and drop a follow so that I can pin your comments and make my chat a hell of a lot more readable. If you're not already following along there and on the Purple app as well, would love to see you guys on the Witching app, Witching with a T. Go ahead and hop on over there. Would greatly appreciate it. Oops, sorry, I was just updating, making sure we're good there. But yeah, guys, go ahead and follow along on all these. If you're not following here, again, please drop one so that I can pin your comments here and make my chat more readable. It is hard with all the software I got running to manage all the chats from all the different sources. I have Nate in here saying, I traded Saquon for JSN and Amon-Ra, Genty, and Brian Thomas Jr. This one I would be taking the Amon-Ra side simply because you're getting more pieces, and I think over the long haul of the season, those three are going to accumulate to more points for you. Now, look, I am not telling anyone to move off Jackson Smith-Njigba. He has been my guy all season. He was my guy all offseason. I think he has a very good chance of putting up a wide receiver 1 finish this season if everything continues to go to plan. That being considered, Amon-Ra is a staple. Genty's got upside, and Brian Thomas Jr. should pair together enough to outscore Barkley, like Genty and BTJ together. G, Holt, Gavin, Fletcher, thank you guys so much for the follows. Anthony, Sammy, appreciate you guys as well, man. Stoked to see everybody coming through the chat today. It is awesome. We have got G in here saying Ingram, Taylor, Otton, Meyer, PPR week 7. Honestly, man, I'm going to lean Evan Ingram here. I think if you're debating it at all, then Mason Taylor is probably your second bet, and that's fine. But outside of that, Evan Ingram has been getting involved more and more in this Denver offense, and I think he has a good matchup coming up here against the Giants. Okay, you have I get Mason and Addison for Pacheco and Quentin Johnston. Now, I'd take this trade. I'll take the Vikings package. Give me Mason and Addison. Pacheco, what he's offering you right now, guys, is nothing to write home about and not really an asset that I'm actively holding. Outside of that, Quentin Johnston's a guy who I have been actively selling all season long. The second you got a chance to, I was all about it. So that's kind of the way I view him. Where do I have Ibuka rest of the season? Well, that's a good question. I mean, obviously Amika's out here doing things that are just incredible to witness, right? I mean, he's out, is wide receiver 3 overall for the season. Now, I do think Mike Evans coming back, right? And Chris Godwin will eventually come back. Jalen McMillan's going to come off IR. I do got to imagine he comes back down to earth a little bit. Now, I do have Ibuka finishing as a top 12 wide receiver, okay? So I think he will finish in that range. Do I think that he has it in him to finish top 5 this year? No. So I do think that there will be a second half of the year breakdown a little bit, and he will come back to earth. He's also dealing with the hamstring injury, which we got to remember, guys. Hamstring injuries are no joke in fantasy football. I mean, in football in general, but I just mean hamstrings, they nag you. They keep coming back. They are a pain in the ass, so. All right, folks. Again, just as a reminder, if you're not already following along, it makes it way easier for me to read your chats and pin them if you are. So please go ahead and do the duty of dropping a quick follow here so I can pin them just like Ronan White here and get to your guys' questions. If you're not already following along on some of the other apps that we're streaming on right now, it is way easier for me to manage my chat over on the Purple app and on the Red app, the Tube, and the Witching Hour. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, so go ahead and hop over there if you want some more immediate feedback. I'm trying to, manage all of them at the same time. Ronan says, I need a quarterback. Do I trade Javonte Williams for Jaden Daniels? If you really need a quarterback, I guess this is an okay trade, but I wouldn't be doing it, man. I think you're just spending way too much on a quarterback here. If it's me, let's just go buy Jared Goff for way cheaper. You should be able to flip a Michael Pittman, for a Jared Goff, something in that range. Even Dak Prescott. What is Dak currently sitting at? QB3? QB2 maybe? Where is he? QB3. There you go. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about here. But this is just a way cheaper option than going out and trying to buy the absolute, like most expensive quarterback, you could. Okay. Jeff. Jeff Zabrowski. What's up, Jeff? Jeff says redraft traded Ayuk, Addison, and Kelsey for Chuba Hubbard, Hunter Henry, and Juwan. Yep, totally fine with this trade. I like it. I like it a lot. DD Nanzi says I traded Pickens for Bucky. Good trade. Fantastic. I love that trade. You guys are killing it out here. I'm very proud. Very proud of all my folks out here following that are making good trades on our behalf. Got offered Chase Brown for Dowdle. Yep, I'll take Chase Brown. I mean, obviously, like Rico Dowdle's exploding right now. You'll probably get one more really good week out of him. I mean, he's got the New York Jets coming up. If they hold Chuba out at all, he's going to eat. But I'll take Chase Brown here, man. Chase Brown's playoff schedule is sublime. Like, if you're going to make a deep run into the playoffs, in the fantasy playoffs here, like, look at what you get to deal with on Chase Brown. I mean, like I was highlighting earlier, guys, it's not too early to be thinking about this. Like, here you go. You've got Baltimore in Week 15. That's round 1 of the playoffs, right? That is a smash. Baltimore's defense is awful. You get Miami, who Rico Dowdle himself, the man in question we're just talking about, just dropped 42 points against. And then you get Arizona. And Arizona's just a dumpster fire, man. Like, it's hilarious for me to watch. I'm born and raised in Seattle, Washington, so, I'm getting plenty of enjoyment watching the Cardinals continue to just be ass year after year after year. Everyone expects them to get better, and they just don't. And honestly, guys, I've been saying for years, but Kyler Murray is not the answer. Like, Kyler Murray is not the truth. Like, I understand he probably performs well from a fantasy perspective, but in real life, he is the opposite of clutch. Like, I could give you some Kyler Murray stats that would blow your guys' mind, but I'll get back to fantasy for the sake of keeping our chat together over here. Okay, I do have some folks in here. What's up? Ricardo says, trade Keenan and Jordan Mason for Hunter Henry, or for Derrick Henry, maybe. If it's Derrick Henry, I'll do it. Okay. Colin Folk US says, was Xavier Worthy and Darren Waller for Mike Evans good? I get Mike Evans, and I'm 1-5. Whew. I mean, you're 1-5. That's brutal. You probably had to do something to switch it up. Yeah, I'll take the Mike Evans side here. I mean, you are just getting more potential wide receiver 1 upside. Like, there's a better chance Mike Evans obviously finishes higher than Xavier Worthy if he can just, come back and stay a bit healthy here. So I understand the position you're in. I'm fine with doing it, Colin. But, yeah, this is a fine trade. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry for the 1-5. Probably have had an unlucky run here. Ryder, what's up, Ryder? I barely know her. What are some running back options to trade Ladd McConkey for? Well, if I'm trading away Ladd after the spike that he had this week, I'd probably be looking in this direction to a Travis Etienne. I think solid RB2 performance with RB1 upside on any given week. He also has what I consider to be a relatively favorable playoff schedule. Finds the Jets in week 1. That should at least push you to the semifinals. At this point, then you have to play Denver and Indy, and Indy's a bit more of a difficult outing on the final there, but I'd imagine both teams are gunning for the playoffs at that point, and it ends up being a pretty exciting game. Outside of that, like, I would do the best I could to package Ladd with somebody to maybe tier up to a Kyron Williams, probably outside of your budget, but, I would obviously like to try. Additionally, I think that Javonte Williams on a down week here could be a sneaky good buy. Like, if you can capitalize on the great performance that we just got out of Ladd McConkey and transfer it into a Javonte Williams, who currently is sitting running back 5 overall and is on a Dallas team that has the 32nd overall ranked defense, which is absolutely abysmal, and they're going to have to be putting up points week in and week out to stay competitive in these games, I would highly consider doing a deal like that. And quite frankly, I feel pretty comfortable rolling with the Javonte Williams side here. So that's a lot of the area I would be looking. I got Barcode in here. I'm going to pin him real quick. What's up, my friend? Good to see you in. Great to have some of our consistent followers always coming through here. Guys, if you're one of the 90 plus in the chat and you're not already following, do me a favor, drop a quick follow here, and then I can, take you guys, pin your comments like this, and answer the questions a bit easier. Additionally, guys, if you're not already a member of the free Discord, that is going to be your best place to find me week in and week out. I was answering questions for 2 hours before I hopped in the stream in here, giving people roster feedback and trade advice and a bunch of other stuff. It's way easier for me on the desktop while I'm juggling the job and everything else to be able to help you guys there. So please send me a direct message that says Discord, or hop on over to my website that's pinned on my profile here, dynastypricecheck.com, and click the free Discord button on the homepage. Sean says Javonte and Chase Brown for Nico and Etienne. Yes, give me the Nico side here. I am good with it. Freezeler says, what app is this? This is the Sleeper app, man. If you're not already on Sleeper, it is the best place to play fantasy football. They do not pay me to say that. I just genuinely believe it and enjoy it. So go ahead and check it out. I'm obviously on the desktop since I'm streaming from the computer here, but it's a good place to be. Pierce says Pickens and Olave for Ferguson and Garrett Wilson. My running back room would be Brian Thomas Jr. and Tet and Evans. Yeah, man. Pickens and Olave for Ferguson and Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I'll do it. I do think Pickens is going to come back down to earth a bit here, and you are getting the tight end 1 overall, plus Garrett Wilson, a guy who I'm crazy high on, so I'm all good with that. We got follower of Christ out here dropping a follow. Greatly appreciate you supporting and coming through to follow here. Also, follower of Christ, God bless you, man. God bless you. Okay? Javonte, Sutton, and Addison for Jamar and Diggs. I will be taking the Jamar side here. I do think Javonte, I was talking him up. I think he's a fantastic buy this week. But on top of that, I mean, you're getting Jamar Chase, potential wide receiver, 5 for the rest of the season here. I don't think he'll finish 1 anymore, but I do have Footy Sanchez. What is this? Alexis Sanchez, Arsenal Gooner out here. What do we think about this trade? Jalen Warren plus DK for Gibbs. I'll be getting Gibbs. Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, you're essentially trading the Pittsburgh Steelers offense for Jahmyr Gibbs. I'd way rather have a piece of that Lions offense than the Steelers offense. All right, I'm going to pin Will up here. What's up, Will? Welcome in. Guys, if you're not already following, please make my chat far more readable by allowing me to pin your comments. So drop a quick follow. Also, check me out on all these streaming platforms we got here. Will Russell says Dowdle for Genty. Yeah, give me the Genty side. I've got Doormat 120 out here saying, got offered McLaurin for Ibuka. Scared by Tuesday's injury report for Ibuka. Yeah, this is a concerning one because I do think you're getting 2 guys that have both are in a spot of injury, right? Like, it looks like Terry McLaurin hopefully is going to be coming back this next week. But again, like, these might be a slow work back. The Ibuka thing, I'm going to have to read a bit more into. I know he's dealing with the hamstring problem. Now, I'm hoping that this isn't as serious as what Mike Evans has been dealing with from the hamstring side of things. But, Matt, I'm probably still leaning Ibuka here. The real thing that I'm saying is, if I am going to move off of Ibuka, who's currently, wide receiver 4 overall in the season, you should be shopping him a lot more than you probably have been. Getting Terry McLaurin is one thing, but I would have to imagine that there's a lot of folks out there right now that are more than happy to pay you a absolute haul for Emeka Egbuka. So I would be, exploring the option of, can I trade Egbuka for an absolute package? Can I go get, like a Javonte Williams plus a Stephon Diggs? I'd way rather have that package than Terry McLaurin 1-for-1, personally. And I'd be very, very confident that you'd be able to get a package like that done for Ibuka. I've watched people trade hauls, like Jamar Chase style hauls for Emeka out here so far. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, guys, we got 100 plus in the chat right now. Please go ahead and follow so I can pin your comments here and answer your questions nice and easy. Of course, Doormat, thanks for coming through on the tube. Hopefully we can get a nice little subscribe from you here, and you'll be back for our daily live streams. I'm also launching a trade show coming out on Thursday with a special guest, another member of our fantasy content creation community here. It's going to be fantastic, and would love for you guys to be around for it. I got Jack saying Jefferson and Kittle for Nico, QJ, and Goddard. I'm going to be holding the Jefferson and Kittle side here. QJ and Goddard don't get enough going for me on that one, pal. I do also have Jared in here. What's up, Jared? Jared, if you're not already a member of the Discord, would love to have you, man. We are talking Dynasty trades in the Discord Trade Center all day. So if you're not already, send me a direct message that says Discord or hop over to the website that is pinned on my profile here, and I would love to see it in there. It is totally free. We got Jake Ferguson and a first for Ibuka. Let's see. Okay, I do have Jake Ferguson and a first for Ibuka. I don't think it's enough. Jake Ferguson is what, tight end 1 overall this season. He's looking fantastic. I'm definitely not discounting the action and production you are getting out of him on a weekly basis right now. And yes, he is tight end 1. I just think unless this is a tight end premium format, I'm probably not doing it. Now, if this is a 1.75 tight end premium, I will do this deal. Okay, but I think you could just get more. I think if you shop Ibuka out there right now, you should be able to get more. Like, you might be able to get Rome Odunze plus, honestly. Stubby Section, what's up? Coming through on the Purple app, says best viewers on stream. Thank you. Broly says, yo, what's up, Broly? Thank you so much for coming through. He says, I need an upgrade at quarterback. Who should I target, May or Dak redraft league? Personally, I'd probably target Dak. I think he's a bit cheaper. Like, buying Drake May always seems to be so expensive, whether people are really high on his rushing upside, whether people are, way too just over infatuated with the fact that he's a young, up and coming quarterback. Dak seems to be consistently slept on no matter where you go. And honestly, like, this man is what, quarterback 3 overall right now? Quarterback 3 overall. And Dallas Cowboys defense is absolutely hogwash, right? So you're going to absolutely have tons of upside with Dak for the rest of the season because their defense is terrible. And so they're going to have to score an insane amount of points to keep him relevant. So I'd go explore it for Dak. And, let's see what you could get done with that roster. Can you flip, a Tony Pollard plus a Stephon Diggs for Dak Prescott? I'd love to do it, Annabelle, what's up, Annabelle? Thank you for coming through on the Purple app. It says trade away Scat and Waddle for Saquon. I have Hurts and AJ too. Do I trade away Scat and Waddle for Saquon? I don't love this personally. Not the biggest fan. I mean, I think Scatabo is probably in the range of finishing near Saquon Barkley by the end of the season. I know that sounds blasphemous right now and maybe way too reactionary, but I am as high on Cam Scatabo as anybody. I think he's a physical runner. I think he's shown you upside in the receiving game. I think that this Giants team suddenly became really exciting with Dart at the helm, and I think Scatabo could probably, keep at least somewhat of a side-by-side pace, 75% production of what Barkley gives you. And at that point, I'm asking myself, does the 25% that I'm losing off Saquon there, does it get made up for by Jalen Waddle? I think yes. So, Annabelle, I'm probably leaning on holding the package personally. But that's just me. Thank you for coming through, though. Guys, if you are not already following here, please drop a quick follow. Really helps me grow out here, and I appreciate you, as well as the fact that it is hard for me to read your chats unless I can pin them, and a follow allows me to do so. Trying to follow all across all the platforms here. We got several over on the Purple app, on the Red Tube app, and over 100 in the TikTok chat. So definitely doing the best I can to juggle them all, but a free follow really helps a lot. We've got Dylan in here saying Sutton, Adams, Rome, Nico, Jacobs, K9, Sharp, Kelsey need a better running back. Who do I go after? Yeah, I mean, you're definitely in need of a second running back here. I think if anything, this is probably the time that you might want to explore splitting Rome Odunze as an asset. Obviously, he's been performing really well for you, but if you can tier off Rome and get Michael Pittman plus a Travis Etienne kicked back to you, I think that's probably something I would explore doing at this point. Landon, my friend, please do me a favor, buddy. Don't spam the chat. If you spam the chat, it makes it impossible for me to read everybody else's questions. So doing the best I can to get to everybody, but please be patient. And if you do want more access to me, guys, the best way to do so is to join my free Discord. I was in there for 2 hours before hopping on this stream, answering all your guys' questions, start sits, trade centers, breaking down rosters. So, do me a favor and send me a DM that says Discord, or just join through my website. Do I start Vidal or Johnston? I would be starting Vidal at this point. I don't even know if Johnson's going to play. Isabel's in here. Nice to see a familiar face. Says Butte or Coker this week on the waiver wire. I would be going with Coker if I had to pick between the two. I see Sloan in here. What's up, Sloan? Sloan is saying, is Hunter Henry droppable? I don't think he's droppable. I mean, he's probably still a top 10 tight end just based off of how bleak the tight end landscape has been looking over the last few weeks. And yeah, he is. He's tight end 8. So I don't know if I would be dropping him just straight up out of the gate here. I do think if you don't need him anymore, then at least explore a trade for him, package him with one of your other players, and see if you can tier up. Whenever I use that example as a tier up, like something what I would say is, okay, let's say I have Zach Charbonnet also on my bench, right? A flex-worthy RB2. Well, can I add Hunter Henry to him, package him, go to a tight end needy team, and see if I can tier that up to a Jalen Warren or a Travis Etienne or a Chuba Hubbard that people are low on right now? Then I at least am doing something valuable with the asset rather than just dropping him and sending him back to the waiver wire. So that's kind of the way that I look at these things, Is Henry better than Njoku? I need a win. I think Mason or Meyer will be better this week. Henry's... I'd probably still hold David Njoku, to be honest, over Henry. So, yeah, again, I think explore some trade options, see if you can tier up here. Francesco, what's up, dude? Says Kamara, Swift, Etienne, or Brian Thomas Jr. I'm going to play Brian Thomas Jr. Here. Josh is in here. What's up, Joshy? Josh says Bijan and Algier for Saquon and Javonte. It is so hard to move off Robinson after what we watched him do last night and how good he's looking, how reactive he is in the open field, not to mention the pass catching upside that they're using him for a bit here. So I do think I'm probably going to just hold the Robinson side here, but man, it is a tough decision as you're getting 2 assets. I'm probably going to barely hold Robinson. If you are struggling on depth, though, then gladly take the package. I have no issue doing that here. I think if we're talking about fair packages, that's about as fair as it as it comes. All right, Alex Mata. What's up, Alex? Derrick Henry for David Montgomery and Cooper Kupp. Not good enough. I'd do it for David Montgomery and Tet McMillan. I wouldn't do it for Cooper Kupp. Not going to happen there. A little bit too low for you, boy. Yeah, Sloan, you're saying no teams really want tight ends. Sorry. I think, again, do the best you can. If you don't have a choice and you need to drop them, then that's okay. Zach Ertz, Mason Taylor, probably going to go with Zach Ertz. Finds the end zone this week. I'm not giving up on him. He's one of Jaden Daniels' favorite targets. I've got what do I think about Josh Jacobs and Zay Flowers for George Pickens and Olave. I would do the Josh Jacobs side. Brendy. What's up, Brendy? Thank you for coming through on the Purple app. Great to see you. Should I start Rice or give him a week to see how he does first? Well, it depends on how the rest of your lineup looks. I mean, I'm definitely starting Rashee Rice over, options that are going to find me somewhere in the middle, like Josh Downs, Stephon Diggs, something like that. Give me Rashee Rice. But what are we dealing with over here? Like, either start Rice or Nico? No, we're starting Nico. Yeah. See, you have a loaded roster. So luckily Rice is good reinforcements for you. You have the option to flex him as he comes back here, and he could break week 1. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Rashee Rice doesn't have the opportunity to get highly involved very quickly and give you a ton of upside. That's probably a realistic opportunity for him. But all that being said, I think, to bench him for Nico Collins is not ridiculous by any means. All right, I got SD out here. What's up, SD? Saying I traded Olave and Jacobs for Robinson. Is that fair? Totally fair. You have London, Abuka, Rice, Jamar in a 10-man league. Yeah, I mean, that's a loaded cast right there. If you're doing anything here, now that you got Rice coming back, I am shopping Abuka as fast as possible. Not to mention the injury that's already happening, but Mike Evans is going to come back. Chris Godwin's going to continue to rise up in this offense. There'll be other options here. If you can take Abuka as fast as humanly possible and flip him for Javonte Williams or Bucky Irving or, anybody that's going to give me potential RB2, RB1 upside, that's the move that might win you the playoffs right there, to be completely frank with you. You have enough depth at wide receiver for sure in a 10-man league. Adarsh says Rice or DK. I'm going to take DK Metcalf for the week. DK Metcalf finds himself in a fantastic matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Not to mention he's caught touchdowns in 4 straight games. I think that's a statistic that a lot of people are like crazy level of usage in the red zone this season for DK Metcalf. So I think you got to be going DK here. I've got Ryan coming through his first time chatter on the Purple app. Thank you for the follow, Ryan. Appreciate you. He says Kamara and Golden for Bowers. I would be doing the Bowers side here. If you can buy low on Brock Bowers now, I know he's been dealing with the injuries and his usage hasn't been to the level that we were all hoping it would be this season. That all being considered, I do think that this is a fair price to get him. Like, I like Matthew Golden a lot, but more from a dynasty perspective than from a redraft perspective. I think it'll take time for him to really emerge in this offense as like a true alpha. Guys, we got 100 plus over on TikTok and a bunch of folks over on the Purple app and on the Red U app. So depending on where you're at here, please drop a follow, man, and help me grow on the platform. Then I can pin your comments and make it way more readable in the chat for me as well. So greatly appreciate you. Mikey is hopping in here for a moment, says, hope the stream's been going well. Mikey, man, we've been ripping all morning, all day, man, largely thanks to you. Thank you, Mikey, for being such an awesome guy and supporting me along the way here. Mikey is one of my moderators that you'll find in the Discord with me, knows an incredible amount of ball, and has put us in a great position here by helping us get these streams set up for you guys, looking nice and clean and delivering you some very good content. First time follower. Thank you, Okeezy. Appreciate you. Let me get to Armanu here, and then I will get to you. I got Brock Bowers, Chase Brown, and Mason Taylor for Matthew Gold. Now, we're just holding the package there, man. Just holding the package. I've got Steezy. What's up, Skeezy? Skeezy. Sorry, I don't know where I was getting the T from. I'm dyslexic. Would you trade away Jay Jettis, Worthy, Chase Brown for Jonathan Taylor and DJ Moore? Jay Jettis, Worthy, Chase Brown for Jonathan Taylor, DJ Moore. No. I mean, getting Jonathan Taylor here is incredible, amount of upside. I think he probably has the best chance to finish running back 1 overall. I do think, though, that giving up Jay Jettis, Worthy, and Chase Brown for that is a lot, just because DJ Moore means almost nothing to me in this trade. And I do think, guys, like I have been talking about it, and I know it's a little early to be bringing off playoff schedules, but it is important to highlight just that if you are able to make it down the stretch here with Chase Brown, like, look at this playoff schedule. You get Baltimore in Week 15, absolutely an awful defense. Miami in Week 16, terrible. And then in the fantasy championships, you get to go against the dumpster fire that is the Arizona Cardinals. This is a dream scenario for somebody holding Chase Brown as their running back still. Brendy says, my RBs are also Achane, Josh Jacobs, Kyron, Chase Brown. Jeez, absolutely loaded. Someone offered me Judkins for Kyron. Should I take that? Nah, it's too much of a lateral move. I think Judkins and Kyron will finish in like the same range. Don't talk about my Cardinals like that. Hey, look, I just keep it real out here, okay? I am a Seattle Seahawks fan, born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I have watched us just absolutely own the Cardinals for about 10 years. I do not think Kyler Murray is clutch. I have the numbers to back it up. Like, why don't you guys guess for me in the chat? I'm curious. This will be fun, okay? If you guys think you know ball, Kyler Murray has been in the league for what? 10 years? 8 years, I think. But let's look, actually. Maybe seven, but let's check. Kyler Murray, I can't remember what year he was drafted in. Kyler Murray was drafted in 2019. So, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's on his 7th season. Why don't you guys guess? Why don't you guys guess for me in the chat, okay? Why don't you guys guess for me in the chat? How many fourth quarter touchdowns has Kyler Murray thrown in his NFL career? Fourth quarter. 7 seasons. How many? 13. 10. You guys are really close. It's under 20, okay? In case you're wondering. It's under 20. You know how many fourth quarters this man's played in? More math than I can do in my head right now, all right? And so, if that shows you anything about what Kyler Murray is and, how he's able to potentially, lead a team that would be able to ever make a playoff run, do you understand that most playoff games are won in the fourth quarter? This man can't throw touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Why would you ever do that? Brendy's saying Jacoby already looks better than him. I don't entirely disagree. I mean, Kyler Murray is the opposite of clutch in my book. Until the Arizona Cardinals are able to figure out, wow, I just caught a mosquito with one hand. That was legendary. I hope the camera picked that up for everybody watching. If you're not already following, drop a follow for the fact that I'm a one-handed mosquito slayer. But yeah, sorry. The point of this stream is not to shit all over the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, although it unfortunately just kind of devolved into that, guys. I do have to try to reel myself back in right now. Go Hawks. Okay, Travis 10 says, I need a running back. I proposed Swift and Pearsall for Saquon. He needs a wide receiver. Is this fair? I need a running back. Proposed Swift and Pearsall for Saquon. I mean, that's not fair. Like, if you're asking if it's an actual fair trade, it is not. I would obviously take the Barkley side by a country mile. Like, I would build a Walmart in between how big the gap is on those values there. That all being considered, though, like, if it works out for you, I'll be super pumped. Like, congrats. All right. Brendy, don't be sad. I'm sorry for talking down on your Cardinals over here, Do the best I can to boost up my Cardinals optimism. It's just hard with what they've been doing for us the last few weeks here, Come on. That Titans game was the nail in the coffin on that one. Bashi, I missed most of that. I'm guessing you hate Marv too then. I don't hate Marv. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest, guys, and this is not me being like, oh, yeah, now I can say this because he's good. No, like, I was here all offseason. I was here all last year telling you, watching all the breakdown of your college prospects and telling you that Jackson Smith-Njigba was a better prospect out of Ohio State than Marvin Harrison Jr. was. But he didn't have the name value. He didn't have the hype train behind him. And everybody and their mom wanted to take Marv 101 as like the consensus 101 in Dynasty rookie drafts. And, remember when even all the stuff was going around? Tank for Marv. Like, he's going to be your Lord and Savior. Like, no. I mean, JSN is just a better wide receiver. He is a better wide receiver from start to finish. He's better in the slot. He's better on the outside. He's got better hands. He's got better vision. Yeah, he's a tiny bit less explosive, probably in a dead sprint, but that's not what matters. Like, lateral quickness matters so much in football. And I just think Marv is genuinely, like, worse than a lot of the Ohio State receivers that we've seen come up over the years, And Bashi's saying you have to admit they won't use Marv right in Arizona. I agree. They don't throw the ball over the middle to him like they should. And, yeah, I'm not going to, hide the fact that Marv's definitely being underutilized. I just think that, yeah, he's stuck there, man. What do you think they're going to do with Marvin Harrison Jr.? He's in his second season. You've got 2 more years, plus he was a first-round pick, so they'll probably pick up his 5th-year option. So, again, fine. You could wait the situation out on Marv and be like, I'm stoked that by age 26 he's going to get a fresh chance somewhere else potentially. But at this point, as a dynasty asset, I'm not entirely, convinced that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the value I drafted him at and continue to value him at. And so in dynasty, I do say actively move off Marvin Harrison Jr. while you still can. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson straight up by a significant margin. In fact, in a bunch of startups I did this offseason, and people that play in my leagues and are in my listener leagues, they could tell you, I walked the walk. I took Garrett Wilson way over Marv. I'll do it, and I'll continue to do it. Deshaun Bogan. What's up, Deshaun? He says, just got offered Jamar Chase and Pollard for Scadabo. My receivers are Puka, JSN Pickens, and Riggs. Running backs are Bucky, Scat, K9, Woody Marks. Here's what I'm saying here. If you got offered Chase and Pollard for Scat, I would probably take it. I then, though, would be actively shopping one of these wide receivers and trying to get a tiny bit more running back depth, because I do not want to be rolling with Bucky and Pollard and K9. That makes me a little too nervous. So if you have Chase, if you have Puka, if you have JSN, great. Hold that. Go take Stephon Diggs and see if you can go out there and at least get Zach Charbonnet so you're backing up your K9 share, and I'll feel a hell of a lot better about it. Okay, Deshaun? Appreciate you. Brandy says, it's ROC. Is it? Is it your OC? Because it's been your OC since Kyler Murray came into the league, right? And you've had a bunch of them. So I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Maybe currently it's still part of the problem, but, Of course, Deshaun, thanks for coming through, man. Hopefully we got a subscription over on the tube that is you. And would love to see you guys often for our streams here. We are streaming every day. This is our second stream of the day, actually. I got you in the morning and I got you in the evening. Additionally, guys, we are launching a really cool show coming up on Thursday. It is our Trade Titans show. So we will be breaking down all of your trades, Dynasty, redraft, everything, doing a couple roster breakdowns for the lucky folks that come through and get to view. It'll be this Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. If you're not already following along on all platforms, would love to see you guys. The long form versions of these trade shows are going to be uploaded to the red YouTube, and then you guys can have access to play them back. If you're trying to submit your trade questions to be featured on the show with me and a special fantasy football analyst guest that will be revealed on Thursday, you're going to need to join the free Discord and submit them through the Discord. So send me a direct message right now if you're in the chat that just says Discord to my TikTok profile, and I will send you an invite link, or just hop over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, the username that you're seeing here, .com. It's also pinned on my profile, and click join free Discord, and you will be able to submit your questions there. Luca, what's up, Luca? Says Javonte and CMC for London and Jacobs. Who wins? You're the CMC side. CMC side by a mile. Guys, if you have Christian McCaffrey in a redraft format of fantasy football right now, like, that's the best player in all of fantasy football. So you're not moving off him. You're trading for him. You're doing everything you can. I'll pay the price it takes. Dior Daddy says Judkins and Javonte for Drake London, RJ Harvey, Kenneth Gainwell. I have Bucky White and Warren. I'll take the running back package here. I like Drake London as much as the next guy, but I just want to hold Judkins and Javonte here. That's too much value to be given up. Kenneth Gainwell means nothing to me. RJ Harvey means nothing to me. Like, too much inconsistency there for me to get excited about that. Martino, what's up? Says Kamara for Rashad White. I have Josh Jacobs, Javonte, and CMC. Kamara for Rashad White. No. I mean, Rashad White's only going to be good while Bucky's out here, guys. Once Bucky comes back, we're back to split backfield, and it doesn't get me excited anymore. This is just too much of a rental trade for me, you know. Novo Fight just dropped the follow. That means I can pin your comment now. Guys, if you're not already following, I can't pin your comments. If you aren't, it makes it so much easier for me to read my chat. So please go ahead and drop a quick follow if you're on the TikTok app. Makes it so much easier for me in the chat to be able to see you. Tez Johnson or Keyshawn Boutte. I'll be picking up Tez Johnson this week. Like, especially in a week where now Ibuka, goes down to injury. They're already dealing with the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin situation. Like, I think Tez has got some upside here. Baker seems to like him too. That always helps. DP, what's up, DP? DP says start Dowdle or Jalen Warren. Now, look, if Chuba Hubbard isn't playing, you're starting Dowdle unequivocally. If he is, I'm probably still starting him, just riding him one more week against a New York Jets team that's awful and should have plenty of rushing opportunities. I mean, like I was showing you guys earlier, like, the schedule for Rico Dowdle here has been probably the most favorable running back schedule you could get in the middle of the season when you get your starting opportunity, right? You get Miami, you get Dallas, and you get the New York Jets. Like, talk about just an absolute and complete layup, right? Porter, thank you for following as well, Porter. Now I can go ahead and pin your comment up here. Makes it nice and easy for me. You are greatly appreciated. I got Saquon and Pickens for Bijan Robinson. Look, I'm going to probably hold the package here. And I think the reasoning I'll give it to you like that is because George Pickens is currently a top 10 wide receiver, and I assume, even with CD coming back, with how this Dallas defense is looking as the 32nd overall ranked defense that is struggling greatly, and Dallas is going to have to continue to put up points, that Pickens will continue to give me top 15 upside the rest of the season. That all being considered, I think buying Robinson is obviously worth it if you can. This is just a little too much for me. We've got another question here from Quan. Quan is saying, do I add Wandale or Bam Knight? I'm adding Wandale just because you're probably getting a solid amount of runway ahead of him. Like, he could be the wide receiver one for the New York Giants, through the end of the season here, right? With no neighbors on the roster. So I just think that's a better option than buying, Bam Knight for 1 week. Bam's probably going to get you 1-2 more weeks out here. Sorry, guys, trying to kill another mosquito in here. All right, Cole. What's up, Cole? Cole says Jacoby for Chuba and Jennings. I will do I will do the Chuba and Jennings side here. Give me Chuba for sure. I got Carter in here asking, is Jefferson considered a buy low? Definitely wouldn't consider him a buy low necessarily. He's still Justin Jefferson. Whenever you have that level of name value, players are never just going to give him up for nothing. So you're definitely going to have to, consider that level of it. But from where you're probably drafted him and the way he's been performing, and JJ McCarthy potentially coming back and people being worried about his performance, warranted. I think that, you definitely have an opportunity to go buy Justin Jefferson right now. So if you have an offer in mind, let me know. I'm happy to help you guys sort it out here. I've got Nathaniel in here saying CMC for Puka and Bucky, might even be able to do it next week. If you can do it next week and get another week out of CMC, I'm good for it. I would rather have the Puka and Bucky side here, personally. Okay. I got a winky face here saying, do I pick up Chuba or Rico Dowdle? They both on the waiver wire. Puka, Chuba, or Rico Dowdle. Pick them both up. If they're both on the waiver wire, what kind of league are you in? A start 6 league? Like, got to be playing both. Oh, God, here we go again. I got Darren in here saying, yo, Mike McDaniels, what's up, bro? What's good, my man? Guys, sound off in the chat. Are we looking like Mike McDaniels again today? I had this going yesterday, and folks were dying. Tell me if you see it. Do you see it? Am I the modern-day Mike McDaniels out here? Drop a follow if you think I look like Mike McDaniels. I personally think that it would be fun to go to Miami and put like a Miami hoodie on and just like walk around and see if I could like get pictures taken with people, just trying my best. Do you think I could get into the stadium, just like dip the head real nice, make the hair nice and curly, make sure I got some product in there. It looks like Mikey over there's got some extra product in his hair. I don't got no product. I get out of the shower and I just do this, but he's got some product in his hair. He's got that Miami fuckboy look. Okay, sorry. What else we got here? All right, Parker. What's up, Parker? Parker says Metcalf or Pickens. I'm going to lean George Pickens for the moment. Obviously, he's given you an incredible amount of production. The one thing I will say with DK, though, which has been very exciting, is just he's found the end zone 4 straight weeks in a row. And it looks like he's Aaron Rodgers' favorite red zone target. On top of that, sorry guys, you got a pretty favorable schedule here with Cincinnati in the immediate. Then after that, obviously you got a little bit more of a tough schedule with Green Bay and Indy. But then you got the Chargers, who are allowing plenty of yards. Cincy again, Chicago Bears, who their defense is not exactly stout. You got Buffalo coming up right after that, who's been allowing points left and right. Baltimore, Miami, Detroit, and Cleveland. So you do have a pretty favorable schedule for DK Metcalf as the season continues to progress here. Bro, I thought Mike McDaniels was doing his own press conference on TikTok. LMAO. Thank you, OC24. See, look, dude. Look at me. Mike McDaniels out here. I am Mike McDaniels, all right? For all you guys know, I am. Okay. Parker is asking a good question that I would love to answer. Hey, we got Fantasy Footballers 394 in here. Thank you, Fantasy Footballers. Appreciate you for coming through, dropping a little follow here. But I've got Parker asking a question that I actually thought was quite interesting here. Parker was asking, what are my thoughts on Brandon Ayuk? And look, man, I am not an Ayuk guy. I was not an Ayuk guy when they paid him. I thought it was a boneheaded decision, personally. On top of that, I do think that Brandon Ayuk has had his moments of talent, for sure, and is a capable route runner. But outside of that, for the money that they're paying him and the situation you got in San Francisco and the target competition with a Christian McCaffrey and a George Kittle when they're healthy, plus a Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, who's, in that building as well. Now Kendrick Bourne's even being slightly relevant. This Niners team, I don't know what to expect out of them entirely, with all the injuries they're sustaining on the defensive side of the ball. All that being said, no, I am not a Brandon Ayuk guy. I am an active trade away Brandon Ayuk guy. I don't think that he will be that productive when he's back, or at least not to the level that we've come to expect based off of, the performance we've seen in the past from him. So no, I'm not a big one there. Gavin, what's up, Gavin? Gavin says, Bajan for CD and Achan. Yes, you were taking the package and you are running away with it to the bank. You will be excited about it. Dylan is asking, do I think Kenneth Walker will be traded? No, I do not. I am your resident Seattle Seahawks expert. In case anybody is wondering out here saying, does this guy even know what he's talking about? Yes. Born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I have 2 friends that actually work for the organization. One of them even has a media badge. I talk to him almost every day. He's been inside that locker room. There is a 0% chance Ken Walker gets traded. 0. And it won't happen. They still love him in that building. They don't necessarily utilize him the right way, in my opinion. But Clint Kubiak and this new offensive system is finding their path. They're obviously being very efficient. Sam Darnold's playing at damn near an MVP level. Yes, I said it. It is damn near an MVP level. And while the system is working, they're not going to break from it. And yeah, the run game has been stalling. It's not been fantastic. Zach Charbonnet is getting a lot of carries near the goal line. But all that being said, like, Ken Walker is still going to be very productive for you. And in the long term of that offense, I think that, regardless, he's a great buy in Dynasty right now. Super great buy in Dynasty. If he stays with Seattle, he signs a big deal, great. Then they're going to get him plenty involved, and they'll find a way to use him more as this offensive line gets better. If they don't, and he goes somewhere else, imagine he goes to the Houston Texans, gets a takeover, an open backfield, tons of explosive upside, signs a pretty similar deal, I would guess, to a James Cook or a Kyron Williams, gets, 3 years, $11 million a year, has significant runway for the future. I think that's tons of opportunity here. I got Jalen asking the question in here, Garrett Wilson or DK Metcalf? It's going to be DK Metcalf, obviously, for the next 2 weeks while Garrett Wilson is dealing with the dealing with the knee injury. But beyond that, and from a Dynasty perspective, I want Garrett Wilson for a long haul here. It's just that if you're not already familiar with the injury, then you're asking me a start-sit question, then this week you have to start DK Metcalf because Garrett Wilson is physically not going to play. You have Olave or Lamb. Give me the Lamb side comfortably there, man. I got Luke G in here asking Wan'Dale Robinson, Romeo Doubs, or Tez Johnson. You're going to be playing Wan'Dale Robinson here. I think Wan'Dale has a path to being wide receiver 1 for the Giants this year while Malik Neighbors is dealing with the injury. I like what I'm seeing so far out of Jackson Dart beyond what, I obviously expected from the start of the season. There's a lot of guys I hit on and we're really high on for the season this year, like Jackson Smith-Njigba being probably the biggest guy that I told you all offseason. You have to own him. He's probably one of the top 5 most talented receivers in the National Football League, and nobody listened, and here we are, and we're seeing the emergence happen in front of your eyes here. Outside of that, though, I did say I was not a big Jackson Dart guy. Didn't love his prospect profile coming out of college. I thought he was a little sloppy. I thought he relied too much on his legs. I thought he forced the ball downfield too much. I was wrong. He looks really good. He looks like he's playing up to par. He looks like he's revitalizing this Giants team, and I'm very excited about what I'm seeing out of him. So I will fully admit, I think Jackson Dart is a good option to buy in a super flex format, especially in Dynasty, to hold for the long haul here. Guys, I would love to be able to pin all your comments up here so that I can make my chat a lot more readable. I'm managing 4 different streaming apps right now at the same time. So if you're following along on TikTok and you're one of the 100 in the chat here, please go ahead and drop a follow so that I can pin your comment like this and read it easier. If you're not already following me on some other platforms like the Purple Witching app that starts with a T, or over on the Tube, the big red logo that is made for you, and it is a tube. If you're picking up what I'm putting down over there so that TikTok don't ban me, please go ahead and hop over there and check me out. And then also the viewing experience will be a bit better. You'll get a horizontal view, you get an easier chat bar, less people to compete with, and I'm still getting all the messages. So definitely consider coming along the way there. If not, and you want to hang around here, that's totally fine too. Just a follow so that I can pin your messages. It'll make my life easier. I got Ryan in here asking Haskins and Dowdle for Rice and Saquon. Come on, man. God damn it. How did this sit up here this long and me not laugh at it? Yes, you're taking the Saquon side, man. Will Chuba get traded? No. I do not think Chuba Hubbard gets traded. And guys, this is where I like to talk about, and I will bring up Rico Dowdle here so that people know. Here's the thing that you got to remember. And this is the same thing that was going on a week ago where everyone was like, Alvin Kamara is going to get moved. Alvin Kamara is going to get moved. No, he's not. No, he's not, guys. And the reason that he's not going to get moved is not for fantasy football purposes. These coaches don't care about that. It's all about salary cap management and understanding how the NFL cap system works. Like, these guys are locked in, and trading away players is very difficult. You will eat dead cap. The other team will have to pick up contracts. Like, it's not going to happen. Chuba Hubbard, for example, he signed a 3-year extension, $26 million last offseason. He is owed a significant amount of money next year. He is not able to be cut. If they trade him away or they cut him, they are going to incur a dead cap hit before June 1st of over $9.6 million. That is a lot of money for a running back that is not going to play on your roster. They will not do that. They will just use him for another year. If they are going to trade him away, they're going to have to find someone that is, one, willing to take on that long-term contract, which must mean that is a team that needs a running back for the long haul. Not like a LA Chargers that needs something until Hampton comes back. This must be a team that is willing to pay a significant amount of money. Now you go, oh, what about the Chiefs? What about the Texans? No, Texans are playing Joe Mixon. Just because he's hurt doesn't mean he's not off the cap. They're paying him hella money. They signed Nick Chubb. They're paying him money. These guys are not for free. They don't live in a vacuum. They're not going to take on these contracts when they're already dealing with the salary cap that they have to work around. The Kansas City Chiefs are one I hear talked about a lot. It's not going to happen, guys. The Chiefs just signed Chris Jones last season to a record-setting deal. Then this offseason, they go ahead and sign their tackle Smith to the same record-setting deal for the position. They are already cap-stressed. They cannot afford to be paying a running back over $10 million a year. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay. All right. I got Zoom in here saying I traded Breece Hall for Judkins. Did I win? Yes. For the simple sample size of the season, I would prefer Breece Hall. Okay. All right. Spence, what's up, man? Good to see you back in here. Thank you for the roses, man. I've got never had a limit. Never had a limit saying, what did you say? I thought I just pinned your comment and it just disappeared on me, man. I don't know where it went. Oh, pick 3 to start this week. We've got Olave, Rashee Rice, Sutton, Drake London. I'll go Drake London. I'll go Sutton, and I'll go Olave. I'll sit and I'll wait on Rashee Rice to see how he does for the first week here. Okay. Let's see. What else do I got? Herb says, how's it going, man? Time to gear for week 7. It's true. Yeah, we're gearing up for week 7 already. Absolutely. I'm working on my write-up right now that is about to be posted to the Discord any moment here. So if you guys are not already a member on the Discord and you want to see all my deeper analytics and what I am doing, both from Dynasty and a redraft standpoint this week, make sure you are a member of the free Discord. Send me a direct message right now that says Discord, or hop over to my website and check out the Discord. It is completely free, and there's a big button on the homepage that says join free Discord. It's linked on my profile here, guys. We've got Texas in here. Thank you, Texas, for the pumpkins. Greatly appreciate the gifts out here. He says, I traded Travion Henderson, Woody, and received Jordan Mason. What do you think? I think it's fine. I think Jordan Mason will probably give you more production in the immediate, obviously. Travion Henderson, I do still hope, has a second half of the season breakout, as I thought he was one of the most talented running backs in college football last year, and I still have high hopes for him. Doesn't seem like Mike Vrabel wants to use him the way that I had anticipated right out of the gate here. So, again, that is, a little bit difficult. But I think in the immediate, you're probably getting decent production here. Personally, I won't lie to you, Texas, and I'll keep it real with everybody. I am not the biggest Jordan Mason guy. Like, I own it. I talk about it often. Not a big Jordan Mason guy. So I'd probably just be using this one to try to make another flip trade personally. Like, could I take Jordan Mason and Stephon Diggs and go get Travis Etienne? Just somebody I feel more comfortable with as an RB2 with RB1 upside for the rest of the season. Very involved in the passing game, something like that. That's kind of what I would be saying. Oh, God, here we go again. I got Jay Reed in here, goes, what is Mike McDaniel yapping about? There you go, guys. For the folks in the comments right now, or in the chat, all over the place. I got the chat over on the talk. I got the chat over on the tube. I got the chat over on the Witch. Gotta let you know where we're streaming at. But yeah, sound off, chat. I look like Mike McDaniels or what? What do we think here? What do we think? All right. Yeah, of course, Texas. Appreciate you coming through, man. Guys, again, if you're not already following here, Mike McDaniels needs you to follow. No, actually, just drop a follow so that I can pin your comments and make my chat a lot easier. Makes it way easier for me to read. This comment here has got, is asking, do I pick up Dowdle or Scatabo? Man, it's Scatabo by such a big margin. It's unbelievable. Like, I could build a Walmart in between these two players. Like, again, Rico Dowdle's been playing fantastic. Perfect schedule for him, right? Like, he gets to play Miami and Dallas, literally two of the worst defenses in the entire league. Dallas is the worst defense in the whole league. Probably has another great matchup this week against the New York Jets, so you'll probably see another great week out of Dowdle here. So I'm not going to lie to you. In the immediate, like, yeah, he'll probably put up some decent points for you, especially if Chuba gets held out one more week. But for the long haul here, you got Scatabo, who's probably an RB2 with RB1 upside for the rest of the season. A. Brown, thank you so much for the gifts, man. Appreciate you coming through. And good to see you as a member of this community now. He says, trade Dowdle for Pickens. That is a smash yes. Take the Pickens side, run to the bank, never think about it again, and laugh at your stupid league mate who was so reactionary that he was willing to give you a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy right now for a spot start running back that is already 27 years old. I'm sure you can go ahead and celebrate that one. In fact, A. Brown, man, I'd love to celebrate with you when you pull that trade off, my friend. Make sure you are in the Discord. I would love to see you in the Trade Center to post your victories. We will be launching a trade show, guys, this week on Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, with a special guest from the Dynasty Fantasy Football analyst community. Going to have a guest star on every single week. If you want the chance to have your trade questions featured on the show and answered and unpacked in a deep and thoughtful format with me and another fantasy football analyst that will go each and every week, we are taking your trade questions from the Trade Center on my Discord. If you're not already a member over there, please go ahead and send me a direct message right now that says Discord, or hop over to the website that is pinned on my profile and click the join free Discord button. It is right there for you. Super easy to get in. So on my profile is my website, dynastypricecheck.com, just my username.com. If you open the web page, there'll be a big button on the homepage that says join free Discord. Just click it. You should be good to go. If it doesn't work through TikTok, it's because the TikTok browser doesn't work. It's not because the plugin or the website doesn't work. So just open it in Safari or Chrome or whatever the hell you use, and we'd be thrilled to have you there. Or if all that's way too much effort for you guys and you guys are like, explain it to me like I'm 5. Well, here's the 5-year-old explanation, okay? Open a TikTok message to me and type the word Discord. I will then respond after the stream with a private invite link for you guys, and you will be set to go. I'm going to keep pinning some of these comments and get through them all. If you are not already a follower here, please go ahead and drop a follow so I can pin your comment and make the chat a lot more readable for me. I got Rico Dowdle and Pickens for CD Lamb. Yes, give me CD here. Give me CD. I will be comfortable with it. Christian saying trade Ladd, Addison, Swift for Chase Brown and Jay Jettis. Yes, I will be taking the Chase Brown and Jay Jettis side here. That is a good upgrade in my opinion. Colby, what's up, Colby? Good to see you in here. Colby is a longtime follower. We are very appreciative of him and his absolute loyalty here. He says, yo, I got offered Henry and CD for Josh Jacobs and Pickens. Do you like it? I do like it. I'll be taking the CD Lamb side here. I know Josh Jacobs is performing at a really good level. I do think Derrick Henry still has a chance to bounce back here if the Ravens can start stringing together some wins, and they do have a favorable schedule coming up. So that's kind of where I am looking at everything currently. I've got Lynn in here. Hi, Lynn. Lynn is saying, need a tight end. Is Fannin a good choice? Fannin's a decent choice. Like, I have a couple tight ends that I think probably are either available in your league or easy to trade for that I prefer that are not going to break the bank for you. Like, guys I really like right now that I think you can make, pretty simple trades for or pick up off your waiver wire. Evan Ingram getting a lot more, consistent and, reliable production out of this Denver's offense in the last couple weeks. 7 targets, 6 targets, and then another 6 this week. You're starting to see him come to life a bit here. I like that upside. I think Cade Otton, if he's available in your leagues, with now Ibuka going down to the injury, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin already struggling, that probably provides you a decent amount of upside here. Some of the really deep guys that I like, A.J. Barner being one of them of the Seattle Seahawks. Look at the snap percentage he plays on a weekly basis. He's in on almost 80% of the snaps on any given week, and you're now starting to see the benefit of that. He has put up 3 solid weeks in a row, 15, 30, and 13. Finally, last but not least, for my really deep streaming tight end options, guys, we got to talk about Noah Fant here, a former first-round pick who has great pass-catching upside in an offense that, yes, has struggled, but now you've got Joe Flacco coming in who's not afraid to target tight ends. You watched him do so with Harold Fannin at the beginning of the season for the Browns, and again with Njoku for a couple games there in the middle, so he's definitely not scared to do so. That being said, this is a guy that now with Mike Gesicki dealing with a pectoral injury as a pass catcher and trying to extend those arms, high point catches, absorbing tackles, like he could be held out or reflare up that injury pretty quickly. And Noah Fant could provide you with a lot of upside for, a fraction of the price of what you're going to pay for other guys. So I've got a member on YouTube over here, Dirty Fish Gameplay, funny name, says, would you trade trade Jalen Warren and Tet for Brees and Harrison Jr. I wouldn't. And it's largely because of my disdain for the Marvin Harrison versus Tetero McMillan. I'd way rather have Tet. In hindsight, I do think Brees is going to be a better play here for the rest of the season, but I think I'm still holding Tet. Fish, man, is this a dynasty league? Is this a redraft league? What is the format we're playing in here? I would be curious to learn a little bit more about what you got going on so that I could answer a bit better for you. If it is dynasty, though, I'm holding Tet, and you'd be hard-pressed to see me move off Tetero McMillan in dynasty. Paintingson City, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Appreciate you. Great to have some new folks dropping some follows out here in the chat. Texas is saying, do you think the Panthers might be contemplating trading Hubbard? No, I don't. I did have a long discussion a moment ago about trading running backs. I'm happy to talk about it a little bit more, but my simple response would be no. The NFL salary cap is very difficult to deal with. That is the main concern of every single coach. Chuba Hubbard is on a long-term extension here, and no, they do not have an easy out after this season. I saw someone comment on my video the other day when I told you to trade for Chuba Hubbard as a buy low here, especially in Dynasty. People were like, no way, man. They're just going to roll with Dowdo next year like they have an easy out of Chuba Hubbard's contract. No, they don't. You cut Chuba Hubbard this offseason. You absorb a $9.6 million dead cap hit. You think that they're going to do that and then they're going to go out and pay Rico Dowdle, who's on a one-year deal right now, and, give him more money? No, that they're going to be looking at putting $20 million towards the salary cap next year on the running back department, and only one of them is going to be on the roster. There's no way in hell that gets done, guys. And I know we're all like couch coaches over here being like, oh, they're going to do this for fantasy. They're not going to do shit for fantasy, dude. They need to manage their salary cap. They want to keep their jobs. They're not doing this. Chuba Hubbard's going nowhere. Dirty Fish, he said redraft PPR. If it's redraft, I'm probably taking the Brees side. I just hate moving off Tet to Marv. But is there any way you could, shorten this deal up and make it a little bit simpler on us, Fish, and you just go, Jalen Warren plus somebody else on your bench to go get Brees Hall? Like, can I go Jalen Warren and Stephon Diggs and go get Brees Hall? Like, I'd feel a hell of a lot better than that. I just really want to be keeping Tet, personally. All right. Got a question here. Please answer. Dowdle or Vidal? Now, look. If Chuba Hubbard's not going to play this next week, you're playing Dowdle. Regardless, I'm probably playing Dowdle this week just because, he is seeing a New York Jets matchup here where even if Chuba comes back, I would anticipate there's going to be enough rushing volume to go around to get both guys involved. So that's kind of the way I'd be looking at it. Beyond that, though, I think Vidal probably provides you with a bit more touch upside on a weekly basis for the next 3 weeks. Still, not enough to really, get me going crazy here. Christian, what's up, Christian? Christian here, gonna pin your comment. Thank you for the follow, man. If you guys are not already following here, makes it way easier for me to read the chat so I can pin your comments. It will not let me do so if you're not a follower, so please go ahead and drop a follow if you're not already and you got fantasy questions. I'd be happy to help. Christian says, I have Dowdle and Chuba. What do I do? Hold both, pal. Hold both, or if you don't want the headache of picking between the two, package them both together and let's tier up and see what we can get. Can I package both of them together and work my way up to a Kyron Williams? Let's smash it. Could I do it to, work my way up to a Josh Jacobs or a James Cook after a down week? Smash. That's exactly the kind of stuff we're talking about here. Okay? Nobody. What's up, nobody? Can't believe you're calling yourself a nobody out here. You're a somebody. Let me tell you that. Okay? Start Dak or Hurts. I would be starting Dak every week right now, guys. Dak is currently the quarterback 3 overall. I know Hurts has a bunch of touchdown rushing upside. I'm not denying that by any means necessary. I am simply just acknowledging the fact that Dak Prescott, to be able to stay competitive in games at all, is going to have to put up an insane amount of points. Texas, what's up, Texas? Texas says, thank you for the gifts, my man. So, do I start my flex? I have both Rico and Hubbard. Honestly, man, the ideas I just gave you is what I would do. Like, package them together and let's see if you can go get Kyron Williams. Then you don't have to worry about the headache of it. For this immediate week, I'm probably playing Rico one more week, just against the New York Jets here. Not sure if we've even gotten the go-ahead green light that Chuba's going to play for sure. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But Dirty Fish says, I was thinking of going Tet for Brees. Not sure if I personally want to move T right now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in the camp of I'm trying to move off Tet McMillan right now. So, that's exactly where I'm kind of laying with it. Manny says, is it too late to buy Drake London? Yes, I do believe it's too late to buy Drake London. I'm very sorry for you. I was telling you guys to take the opportunities the first 3 weeks and buy low. You got to trust the ADP on some of these players, especially when it's as talented of a prospect as London. But yes, I do think he's probably out of your price range at this point after a 35-point game last night or whatever he went for, 31. I got Cody in here. What's up, Cody? Gainwell or Marks Woods? Woody Marks. I hate both these options, and I don't think either of them are going to provide you with the level of upside you're looking for. If I had to hold one, I'm probably holding Woody Marks just because like some people have a bit more name value behind him and, get a bit more excited about him just in general. And so I think it gives you a better chance to include in like a tier up trade, especially if this is by any chance a dynasty league and you can, be able to sell to somebody, hey, he's younger, 24 years old, not exactly that much younger, but Dirty Fish says, appreciate the advice, brother. Definitely leaving a like. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Hopefully we earned a subscriber out of you, my man. I'm live every single day for you guys. This is my second live of the day already. We got a trade show launching on Thursday. Would love to have you guys be a part of it. Obviously, all that stuff is going to get uploaded long form to the tube, so you guys can have some rewatchability value over there, but appreciate you guys coming through and all the support today. If you're one of the 132 in the chat here, also on TikTok, please go ahead and drop a follow so that I can pin your comment. It makes my chat way more readable. And additionally to that, if you're not already a member of the free Discord, I can't answer everybody's questions during the stream, even though I try my best to get to everybody. So make sure you send me a direct message on this platform that says Discord, or just visit the website that's pinned on my profile right now, dynastypricecheck, and simply join the free Discord. That way, there's a big button on the homepage. You can ask me your questions all week long in there, and I would just spend 2 hours beforehand answering your questions before this stream. So that'll be your best place to find me. Kamiki says, I got offered Amon-Ra and J-Mo for London and Waddle. I just don't think it's enough. I think I love getting Amon-Ra St. Brown here, but Waddle and London together should probably outproduce. J-Mo's too boom bust for me. I'm probably holding my package there, but it is close. Christian says, should I give Dowdle, Chuba, and Olave for London and Hampton? That's a smash accept for me. I'd like the London and Hampton side. Cammy is in here saying, Derrick Henry and Lamar or James Cook and Hurts. I'm going to take the James Cook and Hurts side. The main reasoning for me behind this one is just that I am worried enough about Derrick Henry being shut down at some point for the season if the Ravens get too far beyond it, which is possible. And if that does happen, I would imagine the coaching staff is looking at the situation going, well, we have a 31-year-old running back with a ton of mileage on him. We do have him under contract next year, and we would like a fresh start on the season with a healthy Lamar and the ability to prep for it. Why don't we just shut him down and limit his touches here so that we don't end up running him more into the ground? And that's kind of where I'm at with Derrick Henry. So it makes me a little bit nervous. Drumsticks. What's up, Drumsticks? Thank you for coming around on the Purple app over here on the Witch, starting with a T. Should I give up on Juwan Jennings? Yeah, I think Juwan Jennings is not going to provide you with enough flex upside, moving forward here in a crowded 49ers team, especially with George Kittle coming back relatively soon here. So, yes, I would be personally giving up on Juwan Jennings at this point. I would think that I'm not going to drop him. I never drop anybody. I would take Juwan Jennings, package him with another piece on your bench, and try to tier up and give me an option I'm a little bit more excited about. I mean, if you're looking for an option, an idea of something like that, I'm saying take Juwan Jennings, take a backup running back or someone that's, provides you with, minimal flex upside here and there. So, Zach Charbonnet. Let's go Zach Charbonnet, Juwan Jennings. Let's see if I can go get Michael Pittman. Somebody who's going to finish as a top 20 wide receiver, someone that I can at least put in my starting lineup every week and feel a lot more confident about. Like that's the direction that I would be leaning with everything. Elliot, what's up, Elliot? Elliot says, I got offered Ibuka, Diggs, and Keenan Allen for JSN. No, I'm going to hold the JSN side here. Not nearly enough. That's a lot of garbage for one premium piece. Nate says, traded Kittle, Geno Smith, and Wandale for Debo and Stafford. I have Ferguson. Traded Kittle, Geno, and Wandale for Debo and Stafford. That's fine. I think Matt Stafford's obviously playing better than Geno right now. I don't love giving up Kittle because I like to flex him anyway, but it's not bad. Eli, I see a dynasty trade in here, guys. My eyes perk right on up when we get a dynasty trade. Eli, if you're not already a member of the Discord, man, would love to have you over there in the Dynasty Trade Center. We are going crazy with dynasty trades all day long. We are also launching the Dynasty Trade Show on Thursday, pulling directly from the Discord. So to have your questions featured, answered by me and another fantasy creator would be fantastic to see you there. Eli says James Cook and a 27 second for Brees and a 26 first. I'm honestly, in a dynasty perspective, I'm going to take the Breece Hall side here, and I will give you my reasoning. One, you are getting an extra first, which I think is massive value depending on where that first is going to land. Obviously, we don't know yet. Could it be a mid first? You could get a premium asset like a Ted McMillan, like I got at the 105 in several leagues this year, or even an Ibuka that if you did your drafts earlier on, you were getting them at the 1-9, 111, like plenty of upside there. Additionally, I think the Buffalo offense started really strong. I don't think that James Cook is going to be bad at all for the second half of the season. I think he'll probably still finish as a top 10, top 12 back. I just think that Breece Hall is younger. He's got more upside. He's going to go to a different team next year and have all the runway in the world. Probably will get a nice little value spike when he signs his deal. And look, guys, from a dynasty perspective, I want to remind everybody of one more thing, okay? It is not about who is on your roster today. It is about understanding how the dynasty market works and being able to capitalize on trades when you have the ability to do so. So why I'm using Breece Hall as a perfect example for this. You have Breece Hall and you have James Cook. Now, James Cook, look at what happened to him when he didn't have a contract this offseason. His value went crazy volatile, all the way down and then all the way back up when he signed the 3-year extension with Buffalo. Same thing's going to happen with Breece Hall here, right? He has no contract. He's a 24-year-old running back that was a former first-round pick with a ton of upside, right? So what are you going to do with Breece Hall? Well, you are going to take Breece Hall, and the second he signs that contract, his dynasty value is going to go through the roof. That gives you all the chance in the world to then flip him for an insane amount of value. I don't care if you have him on your starting lineup next year. That's great if you do. If you don't, I also don't care because you still have the opportunity to capitalize on a value market spike, and take advantage. Texas says, any update on Mika, Pearsall, or Hubbard? No, man. No updates yet. Now, let me just tell you, this is a great reason to join the Discord entirely for free, guys. We do send out all the injury alerts up to date with every single bit of NFL news through that all day, every day, so you will be kept up to date. However, as we stand, I think all three of those guys are not playing this week. From what I know, they are not playing. And until I hear otherwise, I am going to, be very much under the opinion that they're not going to be playing right now. What's good? Blake's in here saying, what's up, Price Check Army? Thank you, Blake. Good to see you, man. We are killing it across all the platforms right now. We got going on TikTok. We got going on the Tube that is red and made for you. We've got going on the Witching Hour, which is the Witching Hour with a T in front of it with a big purple logo. If you're not following me on all these different platforms, please, guys, go ahead and drop all around. If you are one of the 130 plus on the TikTok right now, make sure you are following here so I can pin your comment and answer your question a lot easier. It is so much better for me to be able to pin the comments and be able to read everybody's out. Sorry if I can't get to everybody's questions in the chat. Again, your best chance to get me all week long is to join the free Discord. V Monaco says, just traded CD and I gave up Kyron Mason and Ricky needed a wide receiver. All good with it. All good with it. I've got Rocco Hockey over on the Tube, on the Tube that is made for you, saying, should I give Pickens and Terry for Jamar Chase? Yes, I would. I would be taking the Jamar Chase side there, man. 12-team PPR waiver wire, living on the waiver wire, thinking down the road a bit. What's your take on Christian Watson? Is he worth a deep stash? Yes, he is worth a deep stash. Now, he is a former, first-round dynasty pick. Like, I took him at the 111 a few years ago in a rookie draft. And, I did like his prospect profile coming out of college. Unfortunately, the injuries have, really, really cut him short here. And, obviously, that is a huge bummer. But on top of that, they gave him an extension. The Packers obviously would like to use him to some degree. And so I think that, Christian Watson could be a decent deep stash for you that nobody else is thinking about right now. And I'd be happy to do so. A distraction on the Purple app. What's up, distraction? Says, should I trade Dowdle for Javonte Williams? Yes, you should, and you should do it immediately before that person comes to their senses and realizes that that is an absolutely boneheaded trade. Now, Javonte Williams is currently a top 10 running back on one of the most high-powered offenses in football. And you know why Dallas is so high-powered? Because their defense is 32nd ranked overall, and they are awful. And so when you play on a team like that, and you're essentially the Cincinnati Bengals of this year, that is just going to have to score an insane amount of points to keep you relevant, then obviously I am going to be leaning on the side where I am taking the offense that knows they're going to have to put up 30-plus points a game to stay in the game. So give me the Javonte Williams side every day of the week and twice on Sunday, and don't even think twice about it. Okay. All right, guys. I've got some folks out here. Drumsticks is saying on the purple app, I really need an RB2. I have James Cook and as RB1 and Chubb, Gainwell, and Tracy. Should I try to trade Brock Bowers and Jennings? I have Tyler Warren for a tight end. Really need an RB2 of James Cook as running back 1 and Chubb, Gainwell, Tracy. Should I try to trade Brock Bowers and Jennings? Yeah, I would. Here's what I would do, man. It's time to split the Brock Bowers asset. So, unfortunately, like if that's where your running back room is today, I'm taking Brock Bowers and Nick Chubb, pairing them together and going out there and seeing if I can get Kyron Williams plus. Like, can I go get Kyron Williams plus Tony Pollard and just give myself some more upside here? Like, I think you have to, unfortunately. You have Tyler Warren, you're rolling at tight end, you'll be okay. Herb Good on the tube that is made for you, says, I'm thinking of dropping Travis Hunter for Watson. What do you think? What's your take? Yes, you're overthinking it. I wouldn't drop Travis Hunter for him. I would be exploring other options. Tanner, what's up, Tanner? Tanner's coming through on the tube. Tanner's saying Bourne or Shepard. I would be playing Kendrick Bourne one more week, assuming Ricky Pearsall is going to be held out, but that's where I'd be looking. I'm going to pin Chris's comment over here. Chris says, do I trade Saquon, Marv, Judy, and Nix for Rome, Olave, Baker? Yes, you do. I will take the Rome, Olave, and Baker side. I think you're getting a solid upgrade there at the quarterback position. A guy that's playing at an MVP level, getting a nice little bump coming back to you. And Judkins, Gibbs. I mean, you already have Gibbs, Judkins, all these guys on your bench. I think I'm good with it. Guys, if you're one of the followers here on the TikTok app, sorry, I'm juggling a lot of different chats right now. It is way easier for me to be able to read your comments and pin them if you're following. If you're following, I can't pin your comment, and it makes it way easier for my chat. So if you're not already, drop a quick follow. If you haven't already checked me out on some of the other streaming platforms, like I was saying, like the Tube that is made for you, a big red app, or the Witching Hour with a T in front of it, so a purple streaming app, go ahead and hop over there. My chats are far more manageable, and I will get to your questions way quicker. But again, if you're going to chill here on the TikTok, that's totally fine too. Just make sure you're following so I can pin these comments. Martino says, do I trade Javonte and Tet for Jay Jettis? I have Rashee Rice, Brian Thomas Jr. I'm 5-1. No, I'm going to hold the package here. Broly619 says, trade Debo or Quentin Johnston for Mike Evans. Yeah, I would trade either, like, comfortably for Mike Evans, but I'd probably lean trading away the Quentin Johnston side. Like, Debo at least is probably going to still have wide receiver 2 upside for the future. I think with Ladd breaking out a bit here and QJ dealing with the injury, you could see a bit more fluctuation on that side of the house. So I think that's where I'm at. Spence, thanks so much for the roses, man. Appreciate you coming through and dropping some love out here. On the tube that is made for you, I got Tanner saying, should I trade away A.J. Barner and Gainwell for Fannin? No, I actually have A.J. Barner even above Fannin, just as far as, like, usage right now. Like, genuinely, I mean, if you look here, A.J. Barner's playing over 80% of the snaps, and that's plenty enough to get me excited on a weekly basis to just give you enough upside here, and he is, averaging over 80% snap share, and on top of that, he's found the end zone 4 times in the last 5 weeks. Like, I'm happy with it. Gabe, what's up, Gabe? Gabe says, I did Wandale and Goddard for Ertz and Diggs. W or L, I have Trey McBride, so fine at tight end. Wandale and Goddard for Ertz and Diggs. I am good with the Ertz and Diggs side. Yeah, I'm good with the Ertz and Diggs side. Okay. Carter says, trade Pickens plus Swift for who? Well, if you do have the flexibility to move on from those guys, I'm looking either for a premium running back asset, so James Cook or Josh Jacobs type player, or I'm trying to transfer it into a wide receiver that I fancy more than George Pickens down the stretch. That would be Drake London. That would be Nico Collins. That would be even potentially a Garrett Wilson plus a Ken Walker, some sort of package in that department, Carter. That's probably the directions I would be looking there. That's what I would be up to, man. All right, guys, I'm trying to juggle all the different chats across all the different apps. So, again, if you're not already following, please follow so that I can go ahead and pin your comment here. I see Shannon over here. What's up? He is asking, what Williams from the Rams for London? Kyron Williams, you're saying? Yeah, if you're wide receiver needy, this is a totally fair swap. They both were drafted in the same range. They both offer you the same amount of upside, probably on their respective positions. I got no issue doing this deal, okay? All right, I've got Devin. Devin, what's up, man? Devin's coming through here, and he is saying Kittle for Hawkinson and Hubbard. That's a no for me. I'm so low on TJ Hawkinson. I think TJ Hawkinson offers you little to no value. Hell, I'd rather have AJ Barner than TJ Hawkinson. So I think that's my real issue there. All right, guys, if you're not already following, please follow so that I can pin your comments like this. It makes it way easier for me to see. Michael Lambert is in the chat. One of the OGs. Michael has been around for such a long time, man. It is so good to see you, bro. It's been a minute since I've seen you in the chat, but it's awesome to see some of the OGs come through here. Man, we started, guys, just this last offseason with 12 followers and a couple of, the OGs sticking around for the long haul. We're busting up all the way over 6,000 now, and we are cranking on a bunch of different apps and streaming to you twice a day, every single day. Thank you guys for the support continued here. Hopefully we can win you a lot of championships. I got Tanner over here on the tube that is made for you, the red app, saying Gainwell, Woody Marks, or Charbonnet at running back 2. Easily Charbonnet here. Like, it's not even close. You could build a Walmart in between the gap that I have between those other players. Like, Gainwell means nothing to me. Woody Marks is purely a receiving back upside on the occasion, where the game script dependent, lands on it. What's interesting about Zach Charbonnet, guys, is that Zach Charbonnet has scored a touchdown in damn near every single game that he has started this season. He's providing you a very consistent floor, and he's seeing a lot of red zone touches. I got Rocco on the tube saying, what 2 receivers would you pair up for Jamar Chase? I have Terry, Ladd, Mike Evans, Pickens, Amon-Ra. I think I'd go Pickens and Terry. And let's see if you can get Jamar Chase. I mean, if that's not going to happen, then I would go Pickens and Mike Evans, but I think that's a little too much. So, no, that's the one I would be leaning for. All right, El Marie. What's up, El? El says, hi, I have Mason Taylor and Kyle Pitts. Should I drop Pitts for Barner, Ingram, or Otten, or hold? Now you're holding Pitts. I mean, Pitts has seen plenty fine volume this year. He's getting good usage across the board in the receiving game. And even if you watch the games, like luckily you got me to watch all the games for you, but I watched all the games this week, and Kyle Pitts was still seeing targets. He was still seeing opportunities. It didn't exactly fall perfectly for him, but I'm not doing it for any of those guys there personally. Rocco says, would you trade away Chase Brown now? You can. I personally, if I can afford to not trade away Chase Brown and just hold him until the playoffs and use him on my contending roster, I am. Rocco, I was highlighting this earlier, but look at the playoff schedule. You got Baltimore in the first round. This is for fantasy, right? You got Baltimore, you got Miami, and then you get the Arizona Cardinals that you can just run all over, right? Could not ask for a more favorable matchup. And I know you're like, oh, you're thinking way too far ahead. I have to make the playoffs. Well, again, if that's your concern and you're a middling team, then of course, let's look at Chase Brown and try to ship him away and get something better. If you can afford to hold on to him, though, I think it's a sneaky play. I got a question here asking for my Seattle insight. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington, and I got a lot of friends actually with a media badge that work for the organization. What are we doing with the Seattle backfield? Let me put it this way. You are just, if you own it, you're holding it, and you're waiting for the true alpha to emerge here. I mean, it should be Ken Walker. I still believe it's Ken Walker. I just think that Zach Charbonnet is siphoning those goal line touches and making it extremely difficult for Ken to find, the long level of runway that we need out of him to be a true workhorse back. Now, that all being said, I would rather hold Kenneth Walker than Zach Charbonnet still. I think he just has way more big play upside. However, if you are tired and of dealing with the headache of what do I do with this backfield and how the hell do I deal with it moving forward, then I would just package the two of them together and go try to trade for somebody that's going to give you, a bit more consistency, that at least is going to be for sure the starting back. Could I take Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet and go buy Javonte Williams, go buy, Kyron Williams, someone like that. Hell, even if you have to add a Stephon Diggs to that package to get there, I would do it. Let's just get her done. Michael Lambert, thanks so much for the donut. Thank you for the roses, man. Appreciate you coming through. It is great to see the OGs in the chat. Guys, if you're one of the 100 plus on TikTok here, please make sure you are following so that I can pin your comment. It makes it way easier for me to read all your questions that way. We've got so many coming through across all the different apps. It is hard for me to manage them. So doing the best I can. TJ understands the assignment. Dropped the quick follow. He says Dowdle, Judkins, Kamara for Genty and Adams. Yeah, I'll take the Genty side there. Okay. It's Dom Dean saying, hey, question here. Is Baker Mayfield a good trade for Christian McCaffrey? What is the format here? Is this a super flex? Is this a dynasty league? Is this a redraft league? I mean, Yeah, I'd way rather have the Christian McCaffrey side if this is not a Superflex Dynasty. If it's a Superflex Dynasty, then give me Baker Mayfield. But I'd way rather have Christian McCaffrey if it isn't. Okay. I've got Denise. Denise is saying, I get Adams, JK, and Kendre Miller for Chase Brown. I'll take the Adams side. Adams and JK. Like, I'd damn near take JK Dobbins straight up over Chase Brown. He's just more productive. Tennyson says Chase Brown and Khalil Shakir for Judkins. Yep, Judkins. Give me the Judkins side. I've got Lynn in here back. What's up, Lynn? Says, do you think Bowers will be good when he comes back? I got to trade for DK Metcalf. I think he'll be good when he's back, but if you could get a little bit more on top of DK Metcalf, like DK Metcalf and J.K. Dobbins, I would do it, personally. Okay. Who to trade Hampton for, running back or wide receiver? Depends on your team needs. Probably if you're set at running back and you're already okay without Hampton, then let's go get another strong receiver and bolster that room. So, would I consider buying Colston Loveland? This is a great question. No. It's a simple answer for me. No. I was not a Loveland guy. Wasn't one of my biggest prospects. I was way more of a Tyler Warren guy. I was very, very, very active on this app and others that I would be taking Tyler Warren 10 times out of 10 over Colston Loveland. People were in my chat flaming me going, how could you do that? They took him number 10 overall in the real NFL draft. You don't know anything about ball. Well, look at where we are today, fellas. Maybe I do know a thing or two. Tyler Warren is just a better prospect. He was so dominant at Penn. He was able to catch the ball. He has great yak ability. He's a gadget player. He's all over the field. Like, you know. Lopez. What's up, Lopez? Guys, please make sure you're following so that I can pin your comments. Makes my chat so much more readable, please. Jacobs and Kincaid for Cook and Waddle. I would be doing the Cook and Waddle side here. I got Mr. Clean asking me how I feel about Chase Brown. All I was saying about Chase Brown is that, yes, for the current moment in time, he is nothing more than a flex or low-end RB2 on any given week, depending on the matchup. Now, weeks like this, against the New York Jets, against the Chicago Bears, against the Baltimore Ravens, twice coming up, you do have some favorable matchups for him, so he should provide you with RB2 upside on those weeks. Now, the only thing I will say about Chase Brown, and guys, this is what I've been highlighting a lot, and I don't think it's too early to talk about, okay? Like, if you are a contending roster or you're, looking pretty nice right now at 4-2 or 5-1, and you have the ability to go buy Chase Brown on the low and stash him, he could be a very sneaky play for the fantasy playoffs. Let's direct ourselves to his schedule here. During the playoffs for fantasy, he sees Baltimore, allowing everybody and their mom to run all over them, the Miami Dolphins, who just gave up 42 points to Rico Dowdle, and the Arizona Cardinals, a team that allowed a massive comeback from the Tennessee Titans, one of the worst teams in football that just fired their head coach and, are probably only going to get worse. So I think Chase Brown could be a very sneaky buy and hold for the playoff run that is coming ahead of you here. That's all I have to say about Chase Brown, okay? All right, I've got Jays in here saying Scatabo and DJ Moore for CD Lamb. Yeah, I will be taking the CD Lamb side here. I love Scatabo. I think he is outrageously talented. I think he is probably the most fun player to watch in the entire NFL right now. On top of all of that, I think it is pretty comfortable for me to say that if you can buy CD Lamb, a first-round startup pick, for this price, I think it's a fair way of doing so. Theo Clark says, would you buy low on Garrett Wilson? I absolutely would buy low on Garrett Wilson. For anybody out there that might be panicking at all on Garrett Wilson, please don't. He is a hyper-efficient target hog that has never failed to put up 150 targets regardless of the revolving door quarterback that he has every single season and an absolutely abysmal New York Jets team. The trajectory for Garrett Wilson will only go up as that team gets better. And I know people say it every year and they get worse somehow, but I'm telling you, it is going to be worth investing in. I've got Cash in here. I recognize Cash from the Discord. Great to see you in here, Cash. Thanks for asking a question based off Dynasty here. Guys, if you are not already a member of the free Discord, take notes. Do what Cash is doing here. Join the free Discord. You'll get way more access to me to break down your rosters, talk through trades with you, and you get access to my weekly write-ups. You get access to the members-only live streams where you can come in and talk directly to me, and we can talk about trade offers together. Cash is saying, should I keep Kyron in a reload, sitting at 2-4 with 2 straight wins, and Scat is my only other back? Personally, Cash, if you are already in a reload and you know that this season is beyond you, based off the injuries that you've sustained and the current build of your roster with a lack of running back depth, which it sounds like you clearly have, yes, I would be actively exploring offers for Kyren Williams. Now, if you want me to help you brainstorm some, I'm happy to do so, but wide receivers obviously tend to hold their value a bit better. So, could I go make my way over to a Teteroa McMillan? They're probably drafted in a similar range of startups right now. Ted's probably going to edge him, but do I have to add a little bit of a sweetener to get to Ted? I would do it. If not, can I go out there and shop for any other young wide receivers like Jordan Addison or Xavier Worthy? Two guys I think that have ascending level of upside in the future in Dynasty that will retain their value as, potentially a first round pick in the future that you can, print back. Of course, I'd want more on top of them. Like if I could do Kyren for Xavier Worthy plus 2 seconds or Xavier Worthy plus a Ken Walker, give myself some upside. Another guy who's really, really down in the dumps right now. His value's tanked, Ken Walker's has. Okay. Should I give up JJ and Rico Dowdle for Garrett Wilson and Javonte? Now, this is going to be a question that is tough to answer because I view Rico Dowdle a lot as a rental, and we've talked about him here. Justin Jefferson is obviously still an incredible receiver, and just because he hasn't been giving you the level of performance you were hoping out of him from where you drafted him does not mean I'm selling him on the low. All of that being considered, if you are able to weather the storm of missing 2 weeks here without Garrett Wilson, I would do this deal. Javonte Williams, on a week where he grossly underperforms comparatively to where he's been the rest of the season, is still sitting RB5 overall. He's been absolutely ripping over here. He's seeing the large share of the snap percentage. He's getting plenty of volume and opportunities. This is a terrible Dallas defense that is going to have to put up an insane amount of points on offense just to keep them relevant. I want every piece of Javonte I can get, so I'm probably going to be leaning the Javonte side here. All right, guys, we are going to be going in the chat for another 10 minutes here before I am going to have to jump off and get a little bit of dinner in the system. So if you're not already following here on TikTok, please drop a follow. I will be back again live tomorrow. This is my second live of the day. If you are following across all the other platforms, it is going to be way easier to get in contact with me on the chats on the Purple app, which is called Which with a T in front of it, or the other place where you find content, a big red play button, the tube that is made for you. Now, go ahead and find me over on these places. You'll compete with way less people in the chat, and you get access to more content. If you are not following here on TikTok, I cannot pin your comments unless you do so. So I do need you to drop a follow so I can make my chat a lot more readable, balancing 100 over here and then a lot of others across the other platforms. Additionally, if you are not in the Discord, your best chance to get in contact with me, get your questions answered from me in the Trade Center, in the Start Sit hotline, or just in the general chat to bounce roster construction ideas is in the free Discord. It is pinned on the website that is on my profile, dynastypricecheck.com, my username.com. Click the Join Free Discord button. If you are also one of the 100 in the chat right now and you're like, that is way too complicated, just send me a direct message right now on TikTok that just says the word Discord. I will respond with an invite link for you, and you will have access to me. We are going to be doing members-only chats multiple times this week to where we have a way smaller group. We can talk all on a voice channel together, and you guys can give me your rosters. And additionally, my Dynasty Digest, which is my write-up for the week on all the analytics that I do as a data architect and what I see in fantasy football, which keeps me winning all the time, will be available tomorrow. I will have that posted. Additionally, if you are not already a member of the Discord, please join it, because even if you're not local to San Diego, then you can catch my fantasy radio show tomorrow. We will be on San Diego Sports 760 radio every single Wednesday, giving you an entire fantasy breakdown of all the action from the week, the players I like to buy, the players I like to sell, who I'm seeing on the waiver wire, what my dynasty moves are, all the above. If you think that TV is wildly overrated and you're like, this guy's way cooler and he's on the radio, then obviously drop a follow, join the Discord. You can catch me on the iHeartRadio app. I'll put the stream on the Discord, or if you're local to the San Diego area, just tune into 760 Sports Radio and you'll catch me in the morning. I've got some folks in the chat real quick. I'll answer a few more guys, and then I am going to drop off. I've got Evan Dempsey in here saying, would you trade Mika and Cook for CeeDee Lamb and Breece Hall? I would be taking CeeDee Lamb and Breece Hall here, okay? Fintlock on the Purple app says, would you trade Gibbs for Rice. I would not. I think that we are way overvaluing Rashee Rice at this point, guys. I like Rashee Rice as much as the next guy, and I think he has potential wide receiver 1 upside in the future. Don't get me wrong. That all being said, I am going to caution people and say that you should be slightly hesitant about the fact that we've not seen Rashee Rice catch a football for over a year, and you're potentially going to give up Jahmyr Gibbs, the RB1 from last season overall, for a guy that you haven't seen play football in over a year. Let's not get too bought into the hype train here, and I would caution you in that department. Okay, I've got Isaac in here asking Krosky, Merritt, or Vidal. For the immediate, I know it's going to sound dirty. I am going to be taking Kamani Vidal. I think he's earned more of the touch split, and he's a guy I think I can just trust more for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, my issue with him all along and why I've taken a lot of heat on this app for being not high on him when everybody and their mom wants to just glaze him all day is because the inconsistency. I don't see the level of production coming out of him that's giving you true RB1 or even a consistent RB2 starter. And on top of that, it makes me nervous for the long haul. Being already a 24-year-old running back doesn't make me stoked from a dynasty perspective either. And I do a lot of dynasty research. Do. Is that what I just said? Yes, I said do. Daddy Log Dog. What's up? K9, Dobbins, and Sutton for Henry and Scadabo. I will take the Scadabo side here, mainly because of the inconsistency I've been getting out of K9 and the backfield situation for Dobbins. That would be my reasoning there, okay? All right, I got River out here. What's up, River? River says, should I start Brian Thomas Jr., Worthy, Waddle, or Tetaroa McMillan? Now, it seems like you've got a loaded lineup here with plenty of options. Personally, I would be starting Brian Thomas Jr., I would be starting Jalen Waddle, and I would be starting Tetaroa McMillan. John Modo. What's up, John? John's on the tube that is made for all things you, the big red icon. Great to see you, John. John says, the other day I was playing with spaghetti, and it went all stiff and pointy, and it shot out milk, and now I'm ashamed. All right, not anything to do with fantasy football. I think that's funny. That's great. Good one for you, John. You got me there. All righty, guys. I have 5 more questions in me here. I've got Vidal versus Woody Marks. It's going to be Kamani Vidal there pretty comfortably. I've got Trey Medine saying trade Sutton and Ramondre for Addison and Scat. This is the easiest smash I've ever seen. Give me the Scat side. I am so abnormally high on Cam Scadaboo. And it is not only because I think he's one of the most fun players in the entire league to watch right now, but it's the level of production he's getting. They said Tyrone Tracy's coming back. Everyone's like, oh no, he's not going to be productive anymore. They're going to take the receiving work. Doesn't matter. He gives you 3 touchdowns this last week. He runs hard as hell. He puts up almost a 100-yard game. He still saw 75% snap share. Cam Scadaboo is the truth. He is the guy you want to have in New York, okay? Guys, if you're not already following on TikTok, please do me a favor and drop the follow so that I can pin your comments. It makes the chat so much more readable for me. I've got Trey over on the tube that is made for you. Thank you, Trey, for coming through on the Red app. Trey is saying, I get Jackson Dart and James Cook. He gets McCarthy, Javonte, and Wandale. My running backs then would be Achane, Scadaboo, McCaffrey, James Cook. Thoughts? Let me put it this way. Okay, Trey, if this is a dynasty league, Trey, I would be taking the Jackson Dart and James Cook side because I like the runway I'm getting with Dart here, and I think Cook has a very good amount of contract insulation. Now, if this is a redraft league, I would still also be leaning the Jackson Dart and James Cook side simply because I think you're getting more consistency on that side than you are on the other. Regardless, I think you were taking the first part of this trade, and I appreciate you coming through. Hopefully we can get a nice little subscribe on the tube that is made for you and keep growing over there. If you are one of the 100 Dynasty, perfect, man, then absolutely you're taking the Jackson Dart side here. I'm willing to go all in on that one. I love it. What do you think of my PFP? I think it's great. Okay. All right, Trey, also, man, we're launching a Dynasty trade show on Thursday with special guests from the Dynasty community. It is going to be going on all platforms, and it's going to be posted long form to the tube. So would love to have you as a subscriber. Would love to have you come through. Please also join the Discord, guys. If you're not already a member of the Discord, I would greatly appreciate having you guys over there. Then you can submit your questions for the Dynasty trade show that is airing on Thursday. We are taking them all through the Trade Center. All right, guys, I am going to answer 5 more questions here, and then I am getting off. 5 only. I know I said that a second ago, but you guys are dragging me back in. 5 more questions, and then I'm getting off for a bit here. I've got to go eat some dinner. We've been live for 2 hours again. We were live 2.5 hours earlier today. We are pushing 5 hours today of fantasy football Q&A. If you appreciate what I'm doing here, guys, a follow means the world. Hopping over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, and buying me a coffee would mean the world. 20% of all the proceeds on the website are going to go to donating meals to the San Diego Food Bank to try to package meals for families in need. We are also in partnership with them through our radio show that airs tomorrow on San Diego Sports 760. It is the Fantasy Roundup, Dynasty Price Checks Corner. I will be answering all your start-sit questions, your trade questions, all the above. Catch me in the studio. If you're not already a member of the Discord, the radio show also streams directly to there through the iHeartRadio app, so I would love to see you guys in there. If you're one of the 100 in the chat on TikTok right now, please go ahead and drop a follow so that I can pin your comments up here, just like Pops, one of the loyal ones, and I will get to it real quick. We're going to do 5 more, and then I'm going to hop off. Pop says, what side are you taking? I've got Saquon, Rashee Rice, and Ricky Pearsall for Amon-Ra and Garrett Wilson in redraft. We've got Saquon, Rashee Rice, Ricky Pearsall. I am going to be going with Amon-Ra and Garrett Wilson here. I think you're just getting a lot more consistent production over the long term. I know Rashee Rice is getting really hyped up right now, but I'm not entirely sure if I believe in Rashee Rice to the level that everybody else does. Not saying he won't be good, just people are talking about him like he's a first-round wide receiver right now, okay? Like, I don't know about that, all right? All right, we're going to go with DVRKJ. He says, should I do this trade? I give Mike Evans and Kendre Miller, and I get A.J. Brown and Travis Hunter. I would be taking the A.J. Brown and Travis Hunter side just ever so slightly here. I just think you're going to get a little bit more upside. Okay. We've got user 130 saying, trade Monty for Hampton. I'm 4-2. That's a yes. If you can weather this storm, give me the upside of Amari and Hampton, and be ready when the playoffs come around. That's going to be fantastic. Juan is saying, would you play Diggs or McMillan this week? I would be playing Tedero and McMillan from this point forward. I do think Stephon Diggs is worthy of a flex spot and has absolute upside to potentially win you the matchup on any given week. That all being considered, though, I do think that, McMillan gives you a safer floor. I've got Coops, Maz saying Javonte or Dowdle. That is going to be Javonte Williams for me. Javonte Williams consistently. He has finished as a top 5 running back so far this season. He is providing a ton of upside on an offense that is literally required to score 30-plus points to even keep them in a game with a 32 ranked overall defense. That's where I'm at. IB2K, good to see you, man. Awesome to see some of my listener league guys in the chat right now. IB2K is a longtime Dynasty head. Love to see you in here. Nix and Fannin or T-Law, Dowdle, Barner, and a 27-second. Going to be T-Law for me on this side here. I'm going to take the T-Law side. It's pretty tough, though, man. It's pretty tough. IB2K, if this is our format where you start 2 tight ends every week, that's why I'm leaning the Barner in a second side, because I like AJ Barner, and I think he has a lot of upside here. But I do see Bo Nix as being a pretty significant upgrade on Trevor Lawrence just from a dynasty market perspective. Yeah, actually, if it's a super flex league, I'm gonna stay the Nix side, man. I'm gonna stay the Nix side. Sorry, changing my answer on you here, but I want to make sure I thought it all through the right way. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the Nix side. Okay, guys, 2 more questions. I got Jared in here asking Debo or Addison for Evans. I would do either of them for Evans, but I would prefer to give up Debo Samuel and go get Mike Evans here, okay? I give Scadaboo. I get Saquon. Fine. I love Cam, and you see me glazing him left and right, but to get Barkley, I will do the Barkley side. It is safer. Last one, best one. Trey says, trade away May and Ladd for Bucky and Marvin Harrison Jr. If this is a super flex league, no, I am not doing it. If it is not a super flex league, then yes, I am doing it, and I'm taking Bucky Irving, and I'm running to the bank. Okay, guys. We did it. With all that being said, I've been live for over 5 hours today. Your boy needs to get some food. Thank you guys for supporting me as always. As I mentioned before, a couple quick plugs, and then you guys can get on out of here. If you're not already following across all the platforms that you're finding me on right here, like The Witch starting with a T, like The Tube starting with a U, or like Tick starting with a Talk, please go ahead and drop a follow and help me grow on these platforms as I am grinding out here for you guys to try to win as many championships as possible. If you're not already a member of the free Discord, please send me a direct message right now that says Discord
or go over to my website that's pinned on my profile, dynastypricecheck, my username.com, and please join the free Discord. There is a button on the homepage that makes it super, super easy to join. Now, if you are in the Discord, you will get access to me more often with more questions. You will get access to the members-only chat, which we will be having this week. You will be able to submit your questions for the trade show that is launching on Thursday with other fantasy football creators and special guests coming to the platform. It is going to be the best place to be. Just literally type a message on TikTok right now to my profile that says Discord. I will send you an invite link, and you will be in for free, grandfathered in and ready to go in the best fantasy football community out there. On top of that, guys, last but not least, we are in partnership with the San Diego Food Bank this year through my radio show that will be airing tomorrow, every Wednesday, on San Diego 760 Sports Radio or through the iHeartRadio app, which you can also find through my Discord, where I will be broadcasting it. If you appreciate what I'm doing out here 5 hours a day right now on top of my other job, trying to give you guys the best fantasy football advice I can, 20% of all the proceeds will be going to package meals for families in need to the San Diego Food Bank. Please just click over to my website that's pinned on my profile and click the Buy Me a Coffee in the top corner, and I would greatly appreciate a couple coffees from you guys to keep on ripping these 5 hours a day for you. Finally, last but not least, you can also find me on Patreon, and a Patreon subscription would mean the world to me, as well as you'll get access to my locked channels on my Discord, which give you direct access to me to ask me questions at all hours of the day and night, and attend my weekly strategy sessions, which is a private live stream with me where you will be able to talk on a voice chat. Finally, I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys so much for all the support, as always. Appreciate it. If you think I look like Mike McDaniel, which a lot of people do, and the chat's been going off on the last couple of days, go ahead and drop a follow. It'd mean the world to me. But if not, that's okay. Mike McDaniel will survive, and so will I. Spence says urgent. Dowdle for Devonta. Yes, you're taking Devonta Smith. I will take anybody that is not a rental running back. Okay? All right. Traded Kamara for Javonte Williams. Valid? That is valid, John. Good job. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for coming through. As always, please drop a follow. Find me on all platforms, like I said, and feel free to support me on the website. Buy yourself a Dynasty roster review if you are looking for the best breakdown in the business, and I would be happy to help you guys win as many championships as possible. And last but not least, be good people. Treat each other with respect. Win a lot of championships, and have a blessed evening. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.